Right.
Right on time.
We all started the day off. And maybe they're fine up there.
Rotation for
Yeah.
Yeah, let's all see how that worked last week. Still been.
Thank you.
I like.
Sorry, St. Francis.
And it's our own fault for hubris.
Yellow dog's the worst.
My favorite was for the picture for like.
Oh my gosh.
Are we good?
Dog that died.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Like obstructed.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
That's all.
It's because we're gonna be. It is the last week. It'll be fine. I'm gonna assault you with my Chromebook. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry we're a little late this morning, some technical difficulties and tardiness. We're gonna call this meeting to order. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chair background. And it looks on this, hopefully the last meeting of the year. Commissioner Nelson, the invocation is yours, sir.
Yes, thank you. I would like to welcome to the podium Father Cyprian of the Archangel Gabriel Orthodox Church. Please come up. This is the church in District 6. I think it's the most beautiful church in all of Grand Traverse County. It was built in 2020, and they just recently completed painting the inside of the dome with the traditional Orthodox icons. So I would strongly encourage anyone to drive by it, look at the views from the outside of the church, then go inside and see it. It was the former Selkirk farm, and the Selkirk family would be very pleased to see what is on that beautiful setting, looking out over the bay. Father Cyprian.
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly King, Comforter, the Spirit of Truth, you are everywhere present and you feel all things. In humility, this moment is entrusted to you as this board begins their work. Lord Jesus Christ, our God, you did not come to be served, but to serve. And you reveal that true authority is found not in power, but in self-giving love. You knelt to wash the feet of your disciples, showing that this leadership reaches its fullness in humility. Look down with mercy upon these men and women who have been elected to serve our county. May they remember that their election was not merely a position attained, but a calling received, an act of service offered for the good of our neighbors and the flourishing of our community and county. Draw them to you, Lord, the true model of servant leadership. Form their hearts in truth and compassion. Grant them wisdom when decisions are complex, courage when the right path is costly, and patience when burdens weigh heavily. Teach them, O Lord, to lead not from fear or self-interest, but from integrity, humility, and love. Help them to see each person they serve as one created in the image and likeness of God. As the Holy Gospel proclaims, whoever desires to become great among you, you shall be the servant. Bless their deliberations today. May their words be measured, their decision fair, their work directed towards peace, order, and common good. Guide their words and their listening. Establish the work of their hands in justice and peace, and preserve this community safely and in unity. For you, O Lord, are the true King and the righteous Judge, and to you belong glory, honor, and thanksgiving, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, now and forever, to the ages of ages. Amen. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Clerk Shealy, if you would, roll call, please.
Walter? Here. Spence?
Here.
Nelson?
Here.
Morris?
Here.
McAllister?
Here.
Henschel?
I'm here.
Flynn?
Here.
Andrews?
Here.
Seifert?
Here. Fantastic. I entertain a motion, the approval of the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Support?
All right, we have a motion by Spence, support by Commissioner Henschel. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Fantastic. Clerk Shealy, first public comment.
Any person shall be permitted to address the meeting of the Board of Commissioners, which is required to be open to the public under the provisions of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board may state his or her name and township or district. Providing a specific address is not recommended. Persons may address the board on matters or issues which are relevant and germane to county government as determined by the chairperson. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, allow an additional opportunity or time to speak if determined germane and necessary to the discussion. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4 Order of Business. However, public comment may be received during the meeting when a specific agenda topic is scheduled for discussion by the board. Prior to the first public comment, the chairperson will indicate the topics on the agenda for which public comment will be accepted. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand or pass a note to the clerk in order to be recognized, and shall not address the board until called upon by the chairperson. The board shall not comment or respond to a person who is addressing the board. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board. Please be respectful and refrain from personal or political attacks.
Thank you. Anybody interested to speak at this time? Let's go ahead and go up to the podium. Going once, going twice. Third time's the charm. All right, we're moving right along. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Clerk Shealy. We are going to the approval of agenda. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Support.
I would like to add one item to the agenda, if I may. We've got members of the Elk Rapids community here in Antrim County talk about the dam update. And if I could, I'd like to add that in the second item under special orders of business, because they are here and would like to be cognizant of their time.
Commissioner Flynn, Commissioner Andrews, you all right with that? Is that an amendment to the proposed?
Sorry, can you say where again where you're proposing to add it?
I'd like to add it as a second item under special orders of business.
So make it 7B.
Yep. Or 7A2.
I accept.
No problem.
Did you catch that? Okay, I'm just
You need
making
a-
sure.
Thank you.
So Flynn and Andrews are...
Yep. Commissioner Hensel, you had a look on your face. No,
Daryl had mentioned that to me, so I was just,
copy that. Well,
That's good.
fantastic. So if there's no more comments, questions, or concerns, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Fantastic, thank you. Moving right along, where are we? Oh, our favorite, the consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file, or approval is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. A, receive. Number 1, Safe Harbor Shelter Utilization Report, November 2025. Number 2, Expenditure Report. Number 3, ARPA Status Report. Number 4, Building Authority Resolution 2-2025. Number 5, Year-End Report, TIF, Pilot, and Brownfield Ad Hoc Committee. Number 6, Year-End Memo, Salary and Retention Ad Hoc Committee. B, Approvals. Number 1, Health Department, Medical Examiner Interlocal Agreement. Number 2, Health Department, repeal of Ordinance Number 3, Body Art. Number 3, Contract Services for EP&L with Integrity Tech Services, LLC. Number 4, Amendment to Snow Removal Agreement with Elmer's Crane and Dozer Incorporated. Number 5, MDARD Clean Sweep Grant 2025-2026. Number 6, ARPA Funding Reimbursement Request. Number 7, Marijuana Funds, recommendation of the work group. Number 8, 2025 Budget Amendments.
Thank you. Is there anything anybody would like to pull from the consent calendar at this time? Well,
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hanschel, support by Commissioner Nesselin to approve the consent calendar as presented. Clerk Shealy, would you give us a roll call vote on that, please?
Spence?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
McAllister?
Yes.
Henschel?
Yes.
Flynn?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Seifert?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. We're going to go to 9A, Health Department.
Mr. Chairman, while we're doing that, I would just like to acknowledge there are a couple of recipients from the marijuana funds in the room. And
Okay.
I just want to make sure that you're aware that that passage gives you your grant. Thank you very much for applying, and thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. Did I skip over 7? I apologize, I did. I'm glad somebody stopped me. So we're going to go to 7A. My apologies.
Right.
Some people were
I
worried.
scrolled too far. Just, it's the end of the year.
So we have Mr. Lavender, Ms. Crawford, and Ms. Maroy here from the pavilions to give to you the annual report. Welcome.
Good morning. Is that on? Yep. Okay. Where is our, should be right here. This one. There we go. Yay. Is that right? Wow, winging it, right? Good morning. I'm Carol Crawford. I'm the chair of the DHHS board that governs the pavilions. And we came to present to you today some things that are going on at the pavilions. We hope to come every year. I think we haven't in a little bit, but and I'd like to also introduce our new CEO. So we'll go on with that. So in the past, the administrator role and the CEO role for the pavilions has been together. And they have been a CEO administrator, having a nursing home license. That has turned out to be, we feel, too much for one person, quite honestly. So we hired Mr. Lavender as the CEO. He will go ahead and hire, I believe, soon, in the next year or so, an administrator with a nursing home license, keeping the roles sort of separated so that it's, like I said, it's not too hard on just one person. The board's vision a year ago was to search for a CEO. Our CEO before Mr. Lavender left us about almost exactly a year ago. This is his first solo role as a CEO. While the administrator manages the operations of the long-term care service line, Daryl came to us during our CEO search early in this current year, in 2025. He's been with us since, I believe, July. Is that correct? Yeah. His credentials, you can see on the screen here. They offer a depth and breadth of healthcare experience that benefits Grand Traverse Pavilions in areas of quality, safety, operations, building a healthcare team, and finance and strategy. Daryl has lived most of his life in Michigan, actually, with the exception of about 4 years in Kansas and Louisiana. So he is back to his home state. He's been married for 36 years and raised his 2 sons in Harbor Springs. So with that, I will turn the presentation over to Mr. Lavender.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Chair Crawford, hi.
Hi.
If this isn't the presentation, I will be glad to be patient, but thank you for your service on the board. And just want, and I know you came in, like we just appointed you with your finance background. You were a great appointment just
Thank you.
earlier this year. This is your first year, right?
No, I was appointed
Second.
sort of in the
Middle
fall
of
of
last
last
year?
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Andrews and Commissioner Nelson and myself took a lot of time over the last few years working with the pavilions and the financial. So having been through all that, my first question, I see you, and not disagreeing with your decisions at all, separating that role of the CEO and administrator is probably a good move. My curiosity, and I'm sure Vice Chair Andrews is curious as well, how does that affect the bottom line of the organization? Is because it was running in the red for a while.
Right.
And we met and we asked some really hard questions and we saw some hard work happening and it got into the black and became a very healthy organization. And I'm curious where that's at now. So if it's in the presentation, I'm happy to wait and see
believe
that.
It is. It is part of, yeah,
Perfect, thank you.
don't worry. And if we don't cover that, I'll come back and answer it at the end.
Great, thank you.
All right? Thank you. All right, Daryl?
Carol. Good morning. It's great to be back here representing Grand Traverse Pavilions with the Board of Commissioners. Met a couple of you. Look forward to meeting more of you as the months and year progress. Basically this morning, and I'm going to try to keep this as a lightning round. I've been forewarned because you have a busy agenda. So this is my intent to cover these items, the 2025 year in review, and what I've done since I've come on board and some observations I've made. Real quickly, I could probably spend the next 15 minutes only on this slide, but I do want to point out that I consider the county a partner with Grand Traverse Pavilions. Your county goals, specifically goal number 1 with sustainable growth and innovation, and goal number 4, focusing on needs of the community. The pavilions dovetail nicely into those 2 goals. On the right side of the slide, you'll see our service lines. We have 240 licensed beds. Currently, the bed plan with the state is 223, and we have to maintain 85% occupancy to that number. Bottom right, assisted living, respite, and independent living, 79 apartments, 59 are currently occupied, 79% occupancy, and we have some pretty aggressive plans to increase that. There are really 4 areas that I'm concentrating on for the years to come. The first one of those is quality and safety. This is publicly reported data that you can get through CMS. And I'm going to work from right to left, but we are a 5-star organization with staffing. The number of hours and the number of FTEs of nursing that we have available 24/7, 365, we do very well there. Quality measures, 4-star, with a close opportunity to bump that up to 5-star here in the near future. And again, very highly regulated quality metrics that we report periodically, both to the state and the federal government. Health inspection, we don't test well. That reflects our surveys. It's unfortunate that that does not reflect the care or the operations of Grand Traverse Pavilions. Over time, that will improve. One is we improve our survey process and test better. The next reason is that will improve over time is the older scores will fall off. And as a 1-star, the most we can get in the overall quality rating is 2 stars. So as I present in the months and years ahead, expect to see that rise. The second of the 4 areas
residents first. This might be a little hard for you to read, but this slide represents at the highest level our resident satisfaction results. In this slide, there are 4 overall ratings provided here. First one is an overall rating of care, the overall rating of the discharge process, the overall rating of staff, and the rating of recommending Grand Traverse Pavilions. The results here show that between 88 and 95% of residents rate Grand Traverse Pavilions on these categories between good and excellent. The third of the 4 priorities is the healthcare team, and we currently employ about 365 people, annual wages, excluding benefits and so on, over 22 million. It's always a challenge to get the recruitment and talent sourcing in northern Michigan. It's a daily priority to be able to do that. And we have a retire here vision. I attended 2 retirement parties last Friday. Both of those folks had been with the pavilions over 30 years. As I looked around the room and asked different people who were in attendance, a lot of those people were here for a couple of decades. So very high tenured staff, very competent staff. As you can see here, the employee turnover by quarter remains below the 10% benchmark. And over time that we like to manage, it prevents burnout and so on, below the 4% threshold that we set. The 4th priority is operational performance. So, Mr. Henschel, this is hopefully where we can answer your question. On the left side, I've put in 2 leading indicators. A lot of the financial indicators are lagging, but here are 2 leading ones, and basically it's resident occupancy for both the skilled nursing facility, that top blue line, and that bottom orange line is the assisted living service line. So both of these data indicate a positive trajectory. The skilled nursing facility over these past 3 years has the greater trajectory, positive direction post-COVID. So on the right, you'll see through October, revenue is up about 172 to budget, expenses down close to 650, not down, over budget by 650. Depreciation is almost $1 million. Net income, we're off by $250,000. Cash, $4.2 million. It's over 51 days. Accounts receivable. This is a priority for us right now. $7.9 million at over 73 days. We need to get our AR days down back into the 40s and get that $7.9 million into cash, and the quick ratio of 1.8, which is really the short-term liquidity. We need to be above 1 to cover short-term obligations. Projects that we had in 2025, we had some new leadership. Myself, Mr. David Hautemaki, our interim administrator, he's back for the 2nd time. He'll be with us into early 2026. And we hired a director of residential services for the assisted living and independent living service lines. Our medical records went digital, so we have very little left on paper. We put a new roof on 2 of the pavilions, Aspen and Birch. That was probably one of our most expensive endeavors for the year. Repaired a sidewalk. It's a nice 8-foot wide asphalt sidewalk now behind 2 pavilions. Efficiencies in supplies and scanning. Improvements there. And then back in, I believe, September, We had an open house for the Aspen Pavilion. It reopened after COVID. We did a refresh, remodel with our own staff, put a lot of time and effort in, and Aspen reopened after many years of being closed. Priority Health, we had Priority Health in previous years. This year, 2026, we are transitioning to a self-funded model. So the conclusion, the leadership focus, we are calling a grand mission 24/7, 365, and that's going to address the quality and safety, the financial performance, the residents, and the healthcare team. And we need to end some of the drift and lead with incredible focus and directional clarity. We need to transition the financial center of gravity away from money-losing practices towards more efficient operations and follow a sustainable path. We have strategic planning coming up in the first half of 2026, and I look forward to that. And as always, I have an open door. I'm accessible. I invite any one of you to come in, whether it's just for a chat or a tour of either the entire operation or a department or service line. Be more than happy to do that. They know how to get a hold of me there, or you can call me at the number that's posted. So, are there any questions?
Please.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that one star? You mentioned the surveys, but I'm not really following with that, what all
Sure.
is included in that.
Annually, we are surveyed by the state of Michigan on behalf of CMS on over thousands of regulations. And usually over the past, I'll say 3 years, correct me if I'm wrong, Carol and Mary, but we've been cited for about 18 or 20 things. Some of them less serious, some of them moderately serious, but it's still the number of citations that gets us to that 1 star. You have points. I'll call it a sausage-making process on the point system, but it's based on a point system to determine your stars. This year, we're having 2 mock surveys done with friends of Grand Traverse Pavilions and consultants that we worked with in the past. So we're going to practice a couple of times before the state shows up. There's an art to it, and it's also just doing better. And whether it's a stained ceiling tile or whether it's an oxygen gauge that reads empty, we just have to do better. So that 1 star, I really want to emphasize, does not reflect the care that the Pavilions offers. It's about the survey, testing well, and a point system.
Can I follow up on that?
Sure.
It's like the SAT where you can study for the test and then do better. And unfortunately, the Pavilions instituted this mock survey process where you can hire someone to come in and do a mock survey, and they did that. And I think it was 3 days later, it was before they got the debrief, the actual survey arrived, so they didn't get the advantage of the mock survey. It was
The timing was
the
not
timing was
great.
off. And it's a surprise, right? They give you a day or 2 notice, but it's like an inspection where they send up 3, 4, 5 people from downstate. They take over the conference room and they just go everywhere. And so to do the mock and then not have the chance to fix all the things, and then it was highly unfortunate, and it's also opportunity for improvement.
Yeah, the state was expected between September, October-ish, and they came in June.
Please, Mr. Nelson.
So I want to state, as Commissioner Henschel said, Commissioner Andrews and Mr. Henschel and I served on that committee 3 years ago, when the news was pretty bad. The county was paying some of your bills, and a lot of things were upside down, and a lot of people have done a lot of work in the meantime. And I like the fact that you're not accepting where you're at, but you're trending up. My first boss out of college told me that sales doesn't fix everything, but it sure helps. And the bed count is continuing to go up. That was an important part of it. The metrics, and you had staffing concerns, as in the front page of the paper. You had a lot of people leaving. So I know you had a lot of challenges, and when you look at this, you might think, holy cow, this is not good. This is a lot better. You can't go from here to here overnight. You don't have a magic wand. But I want to recognize the hard work of the people that have been involved doing that heavy lifting. You've had how many CEOs in the last 3-year period? There's been a lot of changeover. I do want to recognize Mary Mulroy. She's been here through this entire time as a person with solutions and knowledge, and really enjoyed working with her on this. She's been a very big part of this turnaround. So thank you, Ms. Mulroy. And the last thing I want to say is, offline, Darrell, we can discuss about, I was like seeing another Darrell in the room, but we can talk about the misspelling of one of our names, because one of us is doing it wrong. So we'll discuss that later.
I'm sorry that it's you, but we'll talk about it.
Thank you.
You both are exceptional.
Very good.
Please. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
I have another question, sorry. Well, the conclusion slide, pretty general, but can you give me an example of what you mean by transition the financial center of gravity away from money-losing practices toward efficient operations? Is there one or two things you can share with us that will be a change there?
Sure. In general, as mentioned earlier, the speaker before, Darrell spelled incorrectly, Nelson, you don't get to this place overnight, and we aren't going to get out of it overnight, but some of it's cultural, some of it's habits that our leaders have. There has been turnover in leadership, but when it comes to following a budget, when it comes to watching finances, when it comes to spending, I'm a little bit more hawkish than probably the culture is used to. So there's going to be more tools available to leadership this year, and more accountability to use those tools and to make decisions based on budgeting and smarter decisions than, hey, we need X, let's buy X. There's going to be more thought and approval and accountability behind that.
I can add a little to that. As far as, I don't want to call it a money-losing practice, but we do have the cottages that there's a major shift in the industry. Especially, I hate to blame everything on COVID, but since COVID, there's a lot of people who are staying home more and want to be in a home environment rather than be in assisted living. And so, and we have baby boomers coming who are, it's a whole different thing. And this is an industry that changes with attitudes and with different things happening in the world. So that is going to be a very heavy part of our strategic planning in March, is what do we do with the cottages? How do we manage this going forward? And that is one of the things we're going to be looking at. What do we do with that? How do we market it? How do we keep it sustainable when outside forces are changing the attitude toward assisted living? So, does that help a little bit?
And I'll just add on, the graph on page 10, I think, reflects that emphasis where skilled nursing is on an upward trajectory, but assisted living is flat. And that, because those costs are significant, One of the things the board just did in the last month was they gave their administrator or their CEO the opportunity to shift pricing at assisted living so that an empty bed room, empty apartment can be filled potentially at less money. It's still net positive because the overhead is pretty static. So I would cite that as an example of trying to use tools to look forward, hyper-focusing on the cottages and trying to make them more sustainable.
So getting very specific in regards to the cottages and money-losing practices, which is at the root of your question. I talked a lot about leadership and change of culture and accountability. Every vacancy at the cottages, each apartment, on the average, whether it's filled or vacant, the cost is about $4,000 a month. So with 30% vacancy, that adds up. I can tell you that vacancy is largely attributable to leadership and decisions of the past. And whether, we have two separate service lines with the cottages and the skilled nursing facility. We allocate costs to both. I think that some of the costs in the past were over-allocated to the cottages, thus artificially having them lose money and the skilled nursing facility look a little better. So we want to straighten that out as well. But whatever the case is, we have to have more accountability, better decision-making, and look at things financially of how to sustain our business going forward and to be able to shift away from things that jeopardize the assets of the county.
Is closing the cottages an option, in your opinion?
I don't believe so. Everything I read, everything I see in the paper, every ticker article that I read indicates that Grand Traverse County is, I'm quoting from the author of one of those articles, is woefully unprepared in senior living. I think that by taking the socioeconomic folks that we serve and removing ourselves from that market would be detrimental to this community. That's my personal opinion.
You mentioned a round figure of about $4,000 in expense for a room just to exist. Is that how much of that is debt service?
There's bond payments included in that. I don't know the exact amount.
I'm curious. When I look at the gem that is the Grand Traverse Pavilions and the cottages, it strikes me that we have a government-owned facility that is not paying property taxes, competing with for-profit private entities that are paying property taxes, and we still can't seem to, get it in the black. And that was like a big axe to grind I've had for years, and I'm glad we finally are in the black over there. I'd like to see the cottages follow suit.
Yeah, we'll get there. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, thanks so much. This is a good presentation, and I appreciate your slides. The operational performance slide, which is just before projects, gives a revenue of $172,000 and expenses that's far above that. Is that because of the cottages? Is that in part because of what you just explained about the cottages?
In part.
Okay. And then
The way, and this is to budget, so is the 25 budget and the way that was budgeted, that reflects
I
to the
see.
budget variance.
And can you give a couple examples of what would be included in the depreciation of the $959,000?
Well,
I'm just curious. I don't want to, I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Maybe you can't answer it right now, but I was just
yeah, I mean,
interested.
I can answer it in general of how we depreciate various capital equipment that we buy, but if you want to know what comprises that almost $1 million, I'd have to bring that back to you.
Okay. It's not, I mean, it's not critical. I was just curious, like, what were the big items? I know you said that you replaced the roof on Aspen and Birch. And are those memory care sections of the pavilions?
No.
Okay.
And those were expensed because those improvements were purchased throughout the year and done incrementally, so those were expensed. I don't believe, unless we purchase beds for that, I don't believe any of that was capitalized.
Okay. Hey, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Nelson.
Every time I'm involved in healthcare businesses, I'm always glad I'm not professionally or more involved. You've got the 7.9 million in accounts receivable. There was a really convoluted method that the state was paying back money, and there was some past debt being paid back. Is that 7.9 million a part of that, or is that an ongoing accounts receivable?
It's an ongoing accounts receivable. You know, it's a healthcare thing, you know, with how complex the revenue cycle is. It's easy to break. It's easy to break yourself. It's easier for others to break it. And that's the review we're undertaking now, is looking at that 73 days. It's probably climbed a couple of days higher than that since October. But we need to get that back down to the mid-40s and get that cash in our bank versus just on the books,
Okay.
stuck in billing.
So it's like the federal payments, the Medicare, Medicaid, mostly the reimbursements?
It's private pay, it's Medicare, it's Medicaid, and it's insurance companies.
Okay.
It's all the above. I can't tell you which one is more right now, but it's all the above.
You think you have a bead on how you're going to make that better?
Yeah. Couple of things. One is we need to look at our collections process, our billing process, and we need to make sure that we're actually getting paid for what we do, and being able to get that through the revenue cycle timely and efficiently, and make sure that our coding doesn't mismatch with our payers' coding. And right now, there's not a reconciliation of that. And so going forward, we'll become more aggressive. We're going to have some help on that as well. And I can't tell you, because I don't know today, all the parts that are broke, but I suspect every organization I worked in has broken parts to the revenue cycle. This one does too, and we'll unlock it.
And it's the added medical records process to help track those expenses or track those billable.
Yeah, it's where the clinical piece marries the financial piece, and it's unique to healthcare.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, good. Thanks, Darrell, with an E.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, 7B, I believe it's the Lower Chain of Lakes. That's your show, Commissioner Nelson?
Yes, thank you. I'll introduce Leslie Myers here in a minute. I just, kind of the highlights for my fellow board members. There's lower and upper districts. I don't want to take away your thunder, but you know the topic well more than I do. So, but there's lower upper districts. Grand Traverse County is only affected by the lower districts, which is the Elk Rapids Dam and the spillway. Good news is the Elk Rapids Dam is in good shape, doesn't need repair, but the spillway is undermining. And the spillway is, if you're familiar with Elk Rapids, they call it the Kids Pond. It flows off where it goes into the dam, flows off, spills into a little fishing pond, and then down the river into the bay. And that's at risk of eventually degrading to where it could collapse. So that's why this is all happening. The reason it affects this board and us is currently under court order. That would be the funding for that would come out of our general fund. There's a possibility that and likelihood that if we work through this process of the 4,000 people, 4,000 lots affected by the costs, the 300 in Grand Traverse County, which is about 7.5%, will be included in this whole process. So I've been speaking with Leslie Meyer, manager of Elk Rapids, also Antrim County Administrator, Commissioners, and the Lake Owners Associations. Good news is everyone seems to be on the same page and on board with this. So I'll let these guys explain there. Leslie, if you want to come on up, you've got some handouts for us. Maybe we could hand those out, or I can grab them and hand them out. And take it away. Explain it a lot better than I just did. And you can answer questions.
Thank you very much. My name is Leslie Myers. I serve as the Drain Commissioner for Antrim County. I also have another position. It's called Operator of Dams, so a lot of people just call me the Dam Lady. So really what our problem statement is that our aging infrastructure throughout the Elk River chain of lakes is over 100 years old. In Elk Rapids, it's 109 to be exact, and up in Bel Air, it's 120. Historically, Antrim County has taken responsibility for doing all maintenance throughout the chain. There are 2 court-ordered lake levels throughout the chain. One is for Elk and Skegamog, and the other is for what's called the intermediate chain, just north of Bel Air. The existing lake orders were written under a 1961 act, and today, in order to do anything correctly, we must follow Part 307 of Public Act 451. Antrim County has spent as much money as they can. To date, we've got about $1.2 million into doing research and doing building schematics, et cetera, to figure out what improvements are needed. Fortunately, we were able to receive some grants for that. At this point in time, though, grants have dried up, specifically the Dam Risk Reduction Grant Program that was put together after the Midland and Gladwin counties fiasco. We just got, we're waiting for the report to come back on the Elk Rapids overflow. As Commissioner Nelson said, we were very fortunate to hear that the dam itself is in pretty darn good shape, but it's that overflow spillway, the Dexter Street Bridge, some of you might know it by, is where our problems are. Antrim County can no longer take care of this all by ourselves. So, as also Commissioner Nelson said, we must divide, according to Public Act 451, we must divide into 2 districts. So it would be everyone south of the Bel Air Dam and everyone north of the Bel Air Dam would be the other. I call them just the upper chain and the lower chain. In order to get this started, Antrim County passed a resolution in May of 2025. It was their resolution 2512, and it delegated authority to the Drain Commissioner to deal with all of the issues that were lake level related. It allowed me to hire engineers and attorneys to look into how do we move this forward. It also allowed me to come and talk to all of the municipalities that were involved. And to date, I have been to every municipality, every county, township, village, et cetera, throughout the chain, and they understand our issues. They also authorized that I could spend up to $125,000 before I had to come ask for more. I have to ask for more. So at this point, what we are hoping that you would do is pass a resolution to either appoint the Drain Commissioner for Antrim County as your delegated authority, or to appoint your own person to be that delegated authority so that we can move this process further. If you did choose to delegate the authority back to Antrim County, please note that that doesn't mean you're done. I'll be back before you every time we need to spend money, whatever we have to do, presentations will be made to this board. It's not just all in my hands. I would just be making the day-to-day decisions, and the county boards of commissioners would be making ultimate decisions. There will be public hearings with the public, and again, we have found out the Bel Air Dam, just as an example, which is in the upper chain, does not affect you. we have found that it's going to cost us $6.2 million to repair the Bel Air Dam. But it took us over $500,000 to get there, because until construction drawings were built, we couldn't get to what the actual costs are. And we also know that the longer we kick cans down the road, the more expensive things get. I think 10, 15% we're putting on projects now. If we don't do them right away, that, you know, the costs are just going to go up. We would be a special assessment district, if created, would then require that those that had direct benefit, i.e. lived right on the water, would be part of that district, but also those with indirect access. And a good example that I use for what is indirect access, there's something up on Lake Bel Air called the Summit Village Beach Club. And about 400 units up at Shanty Creek share this 20 acres down on the water. They have an indirect benefit. It's exclusively theirs, so they would be included as well. Something that's important to also note is that a special assessment district includes municipally owned properties. It also includes the DNR, commercial ventures, and conservancy land. So pretty much there's very, very few that won't be included if we move this forward. I have been in the process of trying to get as much information out there. We have 2 issues of what we're calling diving in. So those have been passed out to you. We're hoping to write a 3rd one up before the end of the year to just give a synopsis of everything we've been able to accomplish this year. My biggest fear is what happens if we don't do this, and I'm concerned. Midland scares me. They're looking at their 6th year for 2026, will be their 6th year without water in their lakes. They're hoping one of those lakes will get water at the end of 2026. And the cost right now is an approximate cost of $2,800 per parcel for the next 40 years, plus an additional special assessment district of $300 a year so that they can maintain the dams that the 4 lakes now own themselves, because the Boyce Electric went belly up. So I don't want that for us. I'd much rather be proactive than reactionary. And I also want you to know that with truly from my heart, I'm doing everything that I can to save costs as we go through this process, because I'm going to be a special assessment district payer also. So I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that it's as affordable for all. And if you have any specific questions, I'll try to do my best. Please remember, I'm not an engineer or I'm not an attorney, but I have these handy little note cards, and I'll write on the back your questions and go ask one of those engineers or attorneys if I have to.
Commissioner Andrews.
Thank you. I'm interested in the you've already spent $120,000 on this project?
Over $125,000,
And
yes.
can you tell us more? I looked through the diving in and the prior presentations from August and last couple of weeks ago, and I can't identify what that funding is spent on.
We received $450,000 grant from the Dam Risk Reduction Program, and we had to put in $50,000 into that. And that was to do the engineering to design the improvements for Bel Air. Prior to that, the county received a $300,000 grant to do a hydrologic and hydraulic analysis of the entire chain. We had to put in $75,000 to that $300,000. The Army Corps of Engineers did that for us. We, after that Army Corps study was done, we invested into a study of just the 2 dams, and that was at a tune of about $30,000, which all of the lake associations throughout the chain assisted us with paying for. We had come to find out after we had spent all of the money for the Dam Risk Reduction Grant, the total of $500,000, that we needed $120,000 left to create the design, due to the fact that we found extensively poor soils underneath the embutment in Bel Air. I then invested another $30,000 into just studying the Elk Rapids Hydro and the overflow spillway, because we needed more. The report is due out by the end of the month. What we do know, though, is that they've told us verbally that things look really good for the hydro dam itself. It's just the spillway where the problems are. We've also found that the whole entire spillway was built on slag, so that wasn't a great thing. So we still don't have design dollars into that yet, but we're getting close. And we had to do another $30,000 study up in the upper chain part. Another thing that's important to note is we're trying to do as much as in-house as we can. The engineering firm, for example, wanted about $200,000 to identify every parcel that would be part of a special assessment district, or districts, let's put an S on that for the districts. We chose to do that in-house in Antrim County through the operator of dams, drain commissioner, and our equalization and GIS departments are taking that on ourselves. So again, just another way to save money. And I think that that's about all I can think of right now, other than, oh, and I got a little bit of a raise because the drain commissioner makes $700 a year in Antrim County. So they gave me a raise of, I think, about $20,000 for the year. So that's where I've spent my money so far.
Okay, so I just thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I just want to understand of the list, I thought I understood that the 120 that has been spent so far was specific to the lower chain?
No,
No,
both, because when we started this project, we didn't know we were going to have two districts. So the board gave me authorization to spend up to $125,000
Combined for both?
combined. But to date, that's the money that I've spent since I've had the job.
Got it. And it sounds like about 60 of that combined was for the lower, between the 30,000 for the study and about half of the Army Corps study.
Yeah.
And then related to contractors, did those contracts go through bidding?
For,
Attorney and engineering?
no.
Why not?
Because we already had the engineer on staff from several projects ago before this even happened, and so we just continued on with the same engineering firm that we had.
And how about for legal?
For legal, we started using an attorney. It was we picked that attorney because we liked what they did.
And then if the county approves the revised resolution that our attorneys have provided back, I think on the December 3rd meeting, you've committed to providing newsletters. Are you able to provide a quarterly update on what spending is happening and what the process is
Sure.
specific to the lower chain?
Sure.
That would be great. And then another question is regarding equalization. I anticipate that each county would do its own identification of parcels, or is Antrim able to do that on behalf of Grand Traverse and Kalkaska?
With the assistance of your equalization and GIS person, we can do that. One of the great things that's where no matter where you are, upper or lower part of the chain, is the assessors are pretty much all the same. So, for example, you're only dealing with Whitewater Township, and A&D Assessing is Whitewater Township's assessor, who happens to also be the assessor for about 6 of the townships in Antrim. So it's kind of been good old boys. I mean, it's everybody we know and have been working together with for years.
Good old boys doesn't always ring as a positive thing to say.
I'm getting old.
Last question. There's a private operational hydro dam there
No.
adjacent? It's
No.
not operational?
It is operational, but it's not private. Antrim County owns that dam.
And does the spillway benefit the dam? Does
Yes,
it use
it's
it?
required. It's required.
And is the dam covering some of the cost of the spillway project?
The dam is going to pay its share just like any other property owner. Antrim County will be covering those niches, because as I said, municipalities are not exempt.
Let me ask it a different way. But for the dam, would the dam have to do this project to maintain the spillway irrespective of lake levels?
Lake levels is the reason that it has to be done. The biggest purpose of the overflow spillway is maintaining that Elk Lake and Lake Skigmog lake level.
It's not to help the dam's operations?
No, you know, the dam doesn't generate a lot of money. That's probably why Consumers Energy decided to just get rid of 13 of them. It brings in approximately gross revenue of about $400,000 a year, is what the gross revenue for the county is. When it's all said and done, we get about $40,000 out of it. So it helps pay the drain commissioner and the operator of dams salary. It's pretty much what it does. Everybody thinks it's a big money maker, but it's not. It's beautiful, but its real purpose these days is to maintain the lake levels of the Elk River chain of lakes.
Commissioner Nelson.
I did want to note, I forgot to mention that the estimated at this point cost per we'll call it per lot, for lack of a better word, on the lower district is going to be less than $2,000. So we're not talking a huge number, and that there is availability to pay that over a period. But like I said, the Whitewater Township and the Lake Owners Association, they've all been on board with this. They realize the benefit. We haven't had very many detractors at all. It's been very, very positive.
Can you explain how that 2,000 per parcel is determined? I thought this was in the very early stages of assessing what the needs are.
That was my napkin math going on based on the estimated, at this point, we don't have our official, but what they're predicting the cost will be to repair that spillway divided by the 4,000.
And what is the cost to repair that spillway? The estimated cost?
I'm still waiting on that report, but we just decided to give it the same cost or a little bit less than the Bel Air Dam, just for a number so he could scratch on his
That was like
notes.
6 million, you were saying?
$6 million for the Bel Air, but I think we put $5 million.
But you said 5 to 7 I want to know, was this 1,000, was it 10,000? You know, when a homeowner comes to me and says, how much is this going to cost me? I kind of want to have an idea. I want to have a range.
And the project at Bel Air is a similar spillway project to this project?
Yeah, pretty much similar, except there's not a road going over top of it, too.
No, there's $500,000. Commissioner Anschel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just quick research, what I'm finding, I'm trying to put all this more in layman's terms because we start talking dams, it gets really technical really quick. So it sounds like in the 1850s, about 125 years ago, something like that.
1916 was the Elk Rapids Dam.
Okay, well, according to the internet, which, you know, about 1850, it was a sawmill dam. And then about 50 years later, they added electricity to it. And then it was decommissioned, then recommissioned in the 70s when there was an energy crisis. And today it's still an electric dam producing, as you say, about $400,000 a year worth of electricity, expenses of about $360,000 a year. And what I really want to avoid is this possible public perception of people in Grand Traverse County are paying taxes to fix the spillway that services the dam that gives Antrim County money. Does that make sense?
I definitely get it.
Okay.
But I want to just make it well known that the real purpose of that dam is not to generate the electricity. That's just a byproduct. The real purpose is to maintain the Elk River chain of lakes water levels.
Which used to be a river, not lakes.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, Grand Traverse County's got a history of dams as well. No one on this, I think I'm the only one left on the board that was here when we were getting rid of the last one. We had 5 of them. Dean remembers. They weren't profitable at all, so I'm impressed that you're able to generate revenue with that dam in Elk Rapids.
Probably because there are no taxes or anything like that, and that's the reason we're able to generate just a little tiny bit of profit.
Okay.
Commissioner Spence, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, there's 100 parcels that are in Grand Traverse County that
Maybe 300 to 400.
300 to 400 that
300, yes.
share either waterfront or have some indirect benefits. And you mentioned the Shanty Creek Beach Club, but that's in
That's in
Antrim
the upper,
County.
that's going to be in, or that's still in your portion of this. It's still in the lower chain. But we brought an extra 400 people to the table to help with that. The other one is where a corporation buys an old resort, and because they can't put a condominium over top of it, they sell shares to the resort, and the resort share comes with specific rights to one of those cottages. Those are all going to be counted as direct access to. So we don't know the exact number yet. I'm halfway through
Yeah.
everything in Antrim County.
I'm just trying to get a better, like, framework around this. So you're thinking 300 to 400 parcels or property owners that
Unique
may
properties, let's
be
say, in Grand Traverse, in Whitewater
in-
Township.
Okay, and then they would be responsible for helping to pay for this, and you're thinking around $2,000 per, and
That
this is
was-
rough.
Yeah,
This is
that was
really rough.
back of napkin math.
Yes, I understand that. Just trying to put the pieces together. So, I think that was it. Do you, then my other question was, have you utilized Jim Baker yet from GIS to determine and quantify?
Until I had authorization from the County Board of Commissioners, I'm not even asking.
Okay, but we're thinking that this might be
That's what we'd
helpful.
like to do, is to do as much in-house as we can to save money everywhere we can.
Yeah, okay, thanks. And then finally, you had asked if we would use you as drain commissioner, or would we need to use our own Grand Traverse County drain commissioner, since these parcels that are in question are in Grand Traverse County? Are we allowed
I have
to?
some thoughts on that.
I can answer, though, that it's your prerogative, and I'm okay either way. Kalkaska County's resolution appointed the drain commissioner for Antrim County to do that, and that appears what's going to happen in Charlevoix County, which again is a different district than yours, but.
Yes,
Yeah,
those
so,
are good
but
examples.
I don't care. I just want to move the project forward. I don't want to kick the can down the road anymore.
Thanks for that. Okay. Hey, thank you.
Commissioner Andrews.
Yeah, two questions. If Grand Traverse County were to appoint our drain commissioner, he would be able to work with you, and he could even informally delegate to you, or how does that work? I know he's
I
delegated.
can't answer that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I
You don't
know
know the
that we'd
answer.
work as a team together,
Yep.
but the delegations,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, but he could, you've worked with Andy, you know.
I know
the drain
Andy.
commissioner. And then my second question is, our attorney recommended changing the up to, approval of expenditures over 10,000 to instead require board authority or board approval to approve expenditures over 10,000. Is that a problem from your perspective?
I see $10,000 is a real easy thing to see. It seems like I can sign off on a bill like that without even batting an eyelash. So $10,000, we're allowed, I think, up to $10,000, and it's, I don't remember. I apologize. Whatever we need to do to get this done, again, I'm afraid of failure. Failure is not good, so if you want to change that, I can't respond other than saying it's real easy to spend $10,000.
I mean, the way the original proposal was presented to us, it appeared unlimited spending over $10,000, and then our attorney recommended that we instead provide unlimited spending up to $10,000, and I assume that's Grand Traverse County's share?
Yeah, and again, I can't answer that. But then again, in order to bring the attorney here, it was a 3-hour drive each way, and
We use our attorney remotely as well, and that's an option as well.
okay, that's good to know for moving forward.
Commissioner Nelson?
So I kind of talked to, or address Commissioner Spence's question earlier. What I was going to recommend to fellow board members is that we bring this resolution back, have it reviewed again by administration, legal, if they feel, but I feel it's best to have the Antrim County Drain Commissioner be our delegated representative through this, as per this resolution. To have our drain commissioner be involved It's probably going to require extra money for him. This is not had anything to do with any of the county drains. County drains aren't affected by this, so it's a separate thing. In the light of not having too many cooks in the kitchen, I think this is the streamlined way to go. I'm not against having our drain commissioner involved, but I'm not sure that it's going to be helpful. It's going to cost us more money. And when you've got the 4,000 lake owners and we're talking 300 to 400, I think, and they all have to be treated the same, doesn't matter county lines. There's every incentive for the Antrim County Drain Commissioner to treat everyone fairly on this, and there's going to be court oversight, and there'll be oversight by this county. So that's for reasons moving forward, and I'm going to stay involved in this and report back to the board, and she'll be back in front of the board too. But you don't want to get between Leslie Myers and a project, I'll tell you that. She's a dynamo, so I have every confidence in appointing her as our delegate.
I concur with you, Commissioner Nelson. I would like to see something in writing specifically to this. I share the same sentiment that you do, and I agree that failure is not an option. We may need to move forward. So,
I'm hoping soon in January as we can do
well,
this.
we can make that, we can direct the administration to have something for the first meeting in January, if it so pleases the board.
Yeah, we have a resolution already written, and we just have we want to have any more further review or questions from our fellow commissioners.
Mr. Spence?
Yes, can we invite our drain commissioner, Commissioner Andy Smits, to at least be a part of this, because he is Grand Traverse County Drain Commissioner and these parcels are in Grand Traverse County. I just feel like, you know, when you have a process, you bring everybody to the table.
And just to let you know, it was May 1st that the County Board of Commissioners gave me the authority to start talking to everybody else, because until then I couldn't come and speak on their behalf. First person I went to was Andy. And it was through that process that by the beginning of June, we realized that he didn't have the authority, and that's when I was directed to come before you. So just want you to know that Andy's been out there, he knows the problem, and again, because we both hold the same title, we have worked together in the past. So I have nothing against that whatsoever. We have a Lake Advisors Board that we put together, and the lake level advisors, we've asked Daryl to sit on that, and we keep him informed on what's going on there. We can add Andy to that list. Also, the drain commissioner from Kalkaska County and from Charlevoix County are there. We also found out that we had several retired drain engineers and drain attorneys that lived throughout the chain. So we tossed them on there, because before I call the attorney to pay the big dollars, I want to make sure from the retired attorney that I even need to bother, or what am I missing? So it's been really, really great to have these advisors there to help us, and it's just amazing how much education and knowledge is throughout that chain.
Exactly. I love hearing that. It's always good to get everyone together at the table, because you learn so much from other people's lived experiences.
Do we need to approve this motion then, or what do we?
Well, that's
what's
what
the
I'm
path
at.
forward?
My question was that it's like, we do need to approve something, we need to do it sooner than later, but I agree with Commissioner Nelson that I'd like to have something in writing in front of us, responsive to what she has today, and I would like to see Drain Commissioner Smits weigh in, not necessarily be a representative, but weigh in. That's what he's elected to do, to represent the county. So unless my request, direction of administrative staff to have this prepared for the first meeting of January is unacceptable, that's what I suggested we're going to do.
Can we ask our administrator his opinion?
So I put Mr. Nordfjord's opinion in your inbox. He has both an opinion and a proposed resolution that was reviewed, discussed in closed session. I cannot remember the date. There were suggested changes by the commissioners, and Mr. Nordfjord included those changes within the resolution that is within your inbox. It would be in fairly easy turnaround to come back for a January packet.
I'm going to make a motion that we direct administration to bring a revised resolution that includes the recommended spending authority limitation, as well as a requirement for quarterly update reports for receiving and filing at the county for the first meeting in January.
Is that January 7th, probably? Is that going to be our first?
It would actually be the second meeting in January. We have an organizational meeting on that goes first, and then it'll be that.
And
Yes.
what date's our first one?
I think we have 2 meetings on the 7th.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
I'll second.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Andrews, second by Commissioner Hensel. Commissioner Hensel?
While we have the Antrim County Drain Commissioner here, I was just curious, how many county drain districts are in Antrim County?
1.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you.
Kind of a big one.
It's an interesting question. Any more further discussion, comments, concerns, questions? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. Thank
Wait,
you very much.
I got one more.
Oh,
I'm
my
also going to
goodness.
make a motion that we request respectfully that our Drain Commissioner for Grand Traverse County review and provide his opinion on the proposal.
Support.
Second.
All right, so motion by Commissioner Andrews. Who supported that one?
Spence.
All right, Commissioner Spence, that we invite our own drain commissioner.
Respectfully request.
Respectfully request his present, or his review and recommendation.
Didn't we say that at the last meeting, though, already when we
I
were
think
talking about this?
I don't know that we made the motion, but we did discuss it.
I don't want to be redundant with what's already out there.
We
but-
did make a motion about the Silver Lake.
Oh, that was, yeah, that was
It
different.
might have been the Silver Lake, because
You're right.
he wasn't,
We didn't
that's
take
why
this
the
issue
word
up.
respectfully was added in
That's
this
right.
time.
Okay.
We didn't take this issue up
Appreciate
at the December 3rd meeting. We,
the news
Yeah,
headline
it was
with
Silver
that.
Lakes, yeah. So I have a motion on the floor. Any comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Thank you, everyone. Again,
Thank
thank
you.
you for being here.
Did you both get, did you got 2 of each one?
No,
No,
just
just
one.
one.
Only got one, and it's beautiful. Thank you.
thank you, Commissioner, for being here, and thank you guys for being here, too. You,
125.
it's hard to say anything after she's done, right? So, but, yeah, I appreciate your guys' time and educating me and helping me get up to speed. Thank you. And I'll continue to stay involved, keep me in the loop.
I'll make sure you. Team Y.
Thank you. It's not Darrell.
Three Daryl?
No, he's just saying.
All right, so we're going to do 7B. We have a public hearing on our proposed 2026 recommended budget.
Can you please pass
Mr.
this down?
Alger?
Thank you.
You have a chance when you're ready.
Yes, thank you. We are in a position to move forward with the budget public hearing process. On September 3rd, 2025, we presented to you a balanced budget in the amount of $55,907,103. On September, I'll wait.
Yeah.
It's like the court meeting all over again. Thank you, sir. Don't forget to ask you about skiing.
I love the outfit.
Thank you. I get a PDF.
I think I'm just going to talk about it.
Sorry.
Process of how you guys.
I'll start over.
Please do.
On September 3rd, 2025, we presented to you a balanced budget in the amount of $55,907,103. Since then, we've had several conversations about budget, about special initiatives that we would like to see in 2026. On September 10th, we had a special meeting and addressed several items that the Board of Commissioners would like to have for the 2026 budget. One of those requests was to move $1.25 million from the surplus funds division in our MERS account to other divisions within MERS. That will be done. Additionally, we added a detective position within the budget. Mr. Bott has worked within the line items within the proposed budget to add that detective to the budget. This board approved an earmark of $400,000 for an operations audit in 2026 on the 10th. Also on the 10th, the board approved a community development and coordination program to include 2 employees within that program. There is an earmark in the budget for that. Also, this board approved 2 proposals for project management and our jail facilitation process, as well as our project management for civic Gov Center strategy. That is within this budget as well. So We have made those changes to the budget. The budget remains at $55,907,103, and we're ready to go for a public hearing unless there are questions from the commissioners.
Any questions currently before we open the public hearing?
Need a motion for the public hearing?
No, we just open it. Public hearing is open at 10:20. Anybody would like to speak about our proposed budget? Going once, going twice, 3 times? Director Bott?
I would like to just add that we did notice the public hearing, and the Record Eagle is required by state law. This is a part of the formal process of adopting your budget. That notice did include in bold letters that we would discuss the millage rates proposed to be levied to support that budget. And the millage rates are indicated in the budget resolution that you'll adopt later in the meeting. But we basically will levy the rates per your L4029. At this point in time, we obviously don't know what the millage rate will be for the county, our general operating millage, but I do want to state the current rate is 4.6065 mils. And that millage rate, whatever that is set at next year, next May and June, it will be adjusted by Headley if necessary. But just wanted to make that comment to follow the requirements of state statute.
Thank you. Any more comments, questions, concerns from anyone? We are still in the public hearing. So I'm going to guess that there isn't any. We're going to close the public hearing at 10:21. Mr. Andrews, you had your hand up? Get you next, Darrell.
Sure. I have a couple of specific questions, and I'm not sure if these will be answerable. I'm looking at page 11, which is in the memo, and it indicates that the treasurer's actual spending in '24 was $477,000, and projected budget for '26 is $854,000. The budgeted year over year is about a $300,000 increase. Can you help us understand that?
Yes. Well, in 2024, they were down 1 FTE. I think you started with a reference to the actual expenditures.
Yeah, that's the audited as a, yep.
So we're down 1 FTE. That FTE is actually budgeted for in the 2026 amount. But we're also moving to the BSNA software, the cloud version of that, which I don't know the exact cost, but that is the primary reason for the increase in that cost center. The cost for the move to the cloud for the BSNA tax collection and administration software, and there's also the teller software that was budgeted in a different cost center in 2024.
Is that ongoing? Is that going to be an annual expense? It's a $300,000 increase over budgeted '25, irrespective of unfilled staff positions.
There is a one-time cost component to make that migration that's included in that amount, but the annual amount going forward will be less than that. I don't know the specifics, though, without looking at the proposal to move it to the cloud.
I mean, that's almost more than 50% of their annual budget increase for migrating to something that's meant to improve efficiency.
The board approved it about this time last year. I don't have the specifics on the cost, but that full cost to move to the cloud is built into that increase that you're seeing.
So will we be able to get an update from the treasurer to understand how that migration is going and what the efficiencies we might eventually see from that would look like? Is that something we could do in the new year?
Certainly.
That just strikes me as a large increase. I'm just gonna go down the line. The next one is the Register of Deeds is also looking at a large increase, similar, almost 200,000 over last year's budget and substantially more probably due to unfilled positions over the '24 actuals. Is that another technology investment, or what's the increase for?
What cost center? What department?
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven is the Register of Deeds, I believe.
Yep.
We do have, most of that increase would be because we were paying for their primary software that they use, which is a FIDLAR live scan for all of their deeds and documents and the public-facing, to make those documents available. We're charged to their automation fund. That fund has been basically reduced to a very small amount. So in the 2026 budget, I have transferred those costs back to the general fund cost center. I believe there's some additional cost that's anticipated for scanning the remaining documents as well, which is primarily also another component of that cost increase.
And that would be a one-time investment?
Correct.
Okay. And then the county patrol, Sheriff County Patrol, it's 315. Looks like a almost $600,000. I'm on page 11 of 142. Sheriff County Patrol, the budget for last year was 8.9, and now it's 9.5. That was about 400 more than the actual of 24, presumably for unfilled positions. Either way, we're at almost $1 million increase in county patrol.
Yeah,
Well, it depends
the
on-
bulk of that increase would be just the increase in personnel costs, a 3% cost of living adjustment, not an increase in FTEs, but all of our benefit costs have gone up. The other significant item that's adding to that increase would be the vehicles have been moved back to that cost center. I think 8 vehicles were requested. The cost of those 8 vehicles are included in that budget total.
What was the cost center on that you're commenting on?
315
315.
county patrol.
It goes from 8.9-ish to 9.5-ish, right?
Yep. And the
Just general-
actuals over last year were 8.
Or are
General-
you talking about from audited to 24 to
Yeah,
now?
that's $1 million,
Yeah,
almost.
it's $1 million,
Yeah.
almost $1 million. not
And then
quite.
corrections is up about $500,000. Is that personnel costs, or is there anything else in
It's a
there?
combination of personnel costs and also the increase in the medical contract that was recently approved by the board.
Those are my initial questions.
Commissioner Nelson?
I'd like to make a motion, we approve the 2026 general appropriations resolution.
Support.
Oh, hold on. We're still in the public hearing. We
I
need
thought
to
the public
close.
hearing-
No, I killed it.
We ended
Did
it.
you?
Yep,
Oh,
10:21.
I missed that.
So,
Thank you, though, for checking.
yes. Successes are in your diligence, for sure. So we have a motion on the floor. Commissioner Hensel, second by Commissioner Nelson made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Hensel, to approve the budget as presented. Comments, questions, concerns as we discuss as we move forward? TJ? Commissioner Andrews?
So on page, the sheriff investigation budget has 2 different numbers for 2026. In the page 11, general fund, that's in the memo, I believe, I'm looking at cost center 311, it's 1.8 million, but then when I look at the budget on page 26, it's 2 million. And I'm just wondering if there's what the, cost center 311.
That's revenue.
311 is the county investigative
Yeah.
division. That change could be due to adding the additional detective, but not sure.
Okay, so the updated information on page 26 is the
We
more
might have a
accurate.
mismatch with what we ended up with.
On page 27, under the general, the total budget, the $110 million budget for, that includes all the funds, not just general fund. The Commission on Aging budget, which is,
Fund 297, way down at the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like it's going up pretty substantially, almost 2 million over 24 audit, and I'm just curious what the explanation there is.
My guess would be, well, I don't want to guess. I'm going to say that most of that would be, in 2024, they were probably way understaffed in terms of their staffing levels. They've been able to add additional staff over the last couple of years, and we do budget for full staffing, even if those staff positions are vacant FTEs currently. But you've heard that their request and need for services has increased, and also the cost of doing business has increased for the Commission on Aging as well as the rest of us. That budget is well within the tax revenue that they collect. They have a separate millage, and the director does do a very good job in budgeting for what she anticipates her cost would be if they were operating at full capacity.
We also have a significant fund balance for the Commission on Aging, and we've had recent conversations about, of course, Project Alpha and a lot of that going toward that. But we have been able to make headway with filling positions and getting people off wait lists, and so there's definitely some positive movement there. But you got to have people to be able to deliver those services. So,
Very true.
good place.
Any more comments, questions, or concerns?
Cobb Building.
Well, we'll call to a vote.
This needs to be a roll call vote.
Yes, thank you.
Ready?
Absolutely.
Nelson?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
McAllister?
Yes.
Henschel?
Yes.
Flynn?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Spence?
Yes.
Seifert?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. All right, so we're going to go to what's now 7D, 2026 Appropriations Resolution.
That was it.
That's what we
That
just
was
did.
it.
Oh, was it? Well, hey, look at that. So it's now 10:32. Let's take a break until 10:40.
Thank you.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah, so Mason.
Director Leahy. I think that's you.
That's me, I believe. That's what they tell me. Good morning. Yes, exactly. I'm here today to talk about medical services agreements. So I have a couple slides here. I didn't have slides in the packet, but I've taken the words directly off the agenda items and put them into slides to try to drive the conversation, because there were technically 3 items on the agenda, all encompassing the services of medical examiner. You all approved the interlocal agreement update in the consent calendar, so thank you for that. First item here on the agenda is the medical examiner services agreement. I also want to thank our partners currently with WMed, who traveled from Kalamazoo. John and Ashley are here to support the work they're currently doing and for consideration to continue this work. So the recommendation was to approve a 3-year contractual relationship between Grand Traverse County and WMed for the services of medical examiner. We currently support these services through a contract with WMed, but we did go out for RFP for this in September. So not a continuation of a contract, as we've amended some things within the scope of work. Why the service? We as a county, you all as a county board, are required under MCL to appoint a licensed physician to provide the services of medical examiner within our county. So a little bit of a background. Since 2015, we as Grand Traverse County have operated the regional medical examiner office. That's through an interlocal agreement with Leelanau County. Since 2017, we've had a contract with Western Michigan University to provide the services of medical examiner, deputy medical examiner, and autopsies. Prior to that, the medical examiner was an employee of the county.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Yep.
Just to comment on that,
Mm-hmm.
that employee was not a forensic pathologist, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Our current agreement is effective through the end of this calendar year, 2025. While it provides the services of medical examiner, deputy medical examiner, and autopsies, we as the county maintain the medical examiner investigator positions. So those who are going to a scene and doing that investigation to report back to the medical examiner's office. Currently within the county, we have 7 contracted MEI positions that we manage at the health department. So what's different? Under the new service agreement in front of us, WMed assumes the full responsibility for recruiting, employing, maintaining, and deploying those MEIs into Grand Traverse and Leelanau County. So they're no longer contracted positions of the county. Why the change? Maintaining medical examiner as those positions, as contracted positions within the health department, has really created some significant organizational, operational, and financial challenges. From a health department budgetary perspective, I do believe that we have been significantly under-accounting the actual administrative costs of maintaining those positions and maintaining that work. And there's also a better way to provide the service. With us doing that recruiting and onboarding and maintaining of those investigators, we've had a lot of gaps in service. We've had a lot of turnover in that position. We recruit, hire, and employ public health professionals. WMed does that for medical examiner investigators. So there's some gaps there that we've been filling, but it's also led to some gaps in actual services being provided in regards to having an MEI available during the 24/7, 365 need of that work and having proper coverage. It's resulted in some phone investigations and things of that nature, which are not ideal. WMed's been a great partner in that and managing those circumstances, but it has presented challenges that we've communicated with law enforcement and other partners on, of just some of those wait times that may occur because of the shortfall in MEI investigators in the way we're currently doing that business. So also why the change by the numbers? So you'll see in this contract the annual increase year over year in the contractual relationship is at $110,276. But in your packet on page 30, next slide here, I'll have it up. The administrative cost of operating the regional medical examiner office is anticipated to decrease to $287,000 for budget year 2026 compared to the $440,000 in 2025. Taking into account the updated transportation and interlocal agreements necessary to operate the regional medical examiner office, the county, we're anticipating to realize a savings of just over $160,000 in 2026 compared to 2025. So I also projected that savings out over the 3-year terms of the contract as well to demonstrate the savings year over year, but also a savings over $400,000 to the county over the 3-year terms of the contract. That savings, as you can see in 26, 27, 28, all of those included costs within the contract now. So while the contract has gone up to account for the positions of MEIs in the work of WMed, that is all included now. And also, working with our finance team, the uncaptured FTE. So at the health department, we do cost accounting. Everything that I do or any team member does at the health department, we have a fund for it to make sure it's properly adhering to the grant dollars. May not have necessarily been doing that for medical examiners, so the time spent by the health officer, finance director, the person responsible for interviewing, hiring, that was uncaptured time. So when we did a time study to looking back to see how much we've spent on that, that's where some of our significant savings is going to be realized, as that's now the role of WMed. The cost of the transport contract did increase. That was something that we had conversation with WMed on how best to do that practice. We did do a little bit of a inquiry with our funeral homes as well. We got a lot of great feedback about the current contract that we have in those services. Working with that local company, they did demonstrate the need to increase that to really run the 24/7, 365 business that they do well here. So a local company, and that's for the transport of decedents from Grand Traverse or Leelanau County to Kalamazoo for the services of medical examiner and back to the county in which that decedent is to be handled and cared for with their loved ones. Any questions?
Commissioner Nelson.
In light of the fact that you're looking at saving $434,659.17 over the life of the contract with expected improved services, and by hiring a private contractor, I move that we accept the resolution for the medical examiner services agreement.
Support.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Motion by Commissioner Nelson, support by Commissioner Ansel. We approve as presented. Comments, questions, concerns? Did I see your hand, Commissioner Andrews?
Just a clarification, having the work in Kalamazoo, how does that work when we have a death review, whether it's an overdose or a child or anything like that? Does that require input from Kalamazoo, or how does?
Absolutely. There's requirements there as to which deaths in each county are to be performed a full autopsy. That language is in our contract, and those are full autopsies that are transported to Kalamazoo to be operated under the discretion of the chief medical examiner at WMed. Important to note, that is a separate cost item, right, in the contract existing and moving forward. It is a little bit of a moving target, so we average that out over the 5-year span as to just how many deaths we send to Kalamazoo to be fully investigated. Child deaths, overdoses, murders, suicides, certain items of that, automatic. There's others that are the discretion of the medical examiner that have, based off conversation with that MEI at that time. I believe I summarized that correctly, right? Right.
And I believe I know the answer to this, but just for the folks at home, so to speak, Kalamazoo's a long way from Traverse City. Are there options closer? Why is this the most efficient option, in your opinion, for Grand Traverse County?
We deliberated on that as well. I did review some plans just about a potential regional medical exam, regional morgue, and things that have been out there. WMed is really the gold standard, I would say, in the state in regarding to providing these services. Logistically, it does present some challenges, and there are some costs there that we're taking on because of that. As you see that we have to maintain a separate transport contract. I am aware that other counties in the northern portion of the state have tried to pull together a regional medical examiner office. I'm not sure the success rate of that. I don't think it went well. I did pose the question to our WMed partners about one day maybe a WMed North here at Grand Traverse County to serve the population north of really Kent County. I think there's opportunities for growth there. I think at this moment in time, going into 26, this is our best option. We would have to find the right doctor locally as well to be that chief pathologist. Yeah.
Commissioner Walter.
Yeah, thanks for all this work, and it looks like a better deal for the county and the taxpayers and services rendered as well. And it looks like it's a 3-year agreement. So will you come back, in less than 3 years and maybe explore that option that you recommended as
Absolutely.
well? Because, I know we've been doing autopsies in Kalamazoo for years and years. It's nothing new, but seeing the growth in northern Michigan, it makes sense to keep exploring that.
There's a few items that I think once we have this approved that we'd like to take a closer look at that to include the transport services portion of it. As you look at that piece of the work, we are transporting, I always say you come to Grand Traverse County to be born and die in northern Michigan, right? So those deaths that occur at Munson Medical Center, they're not all Grand Traverse County residents, but the death occurred in our county. So we are taking on some of that cost. So there's other avenues as well, I believe, that we can create some partnerships to further that cost savings, and we've had some discussions with admin about taking that forward in 26.
What percentage would you say are not really residents of Grand Traverse County?
I looked at October and November of 25, and I was really just surprised, period, about how many people pass away in Grand Traverse County on a monthly basis, to be honest. I think it ranged from 30 to 60%, just looking at 2 months.
Or not.
Who are not.
Yeah, because so for example, somebody from Benzie dies at Munson, it's considered a Grand Traverse County
Yes.
situation. Yeah.
Or visitor
anywhere.
into town, or
Right.
Someone who is a resident of our neighboring counties but moves into for an assisted living, or an elderly individual falls, right, and is in Munson Medical Center, and so all of those are considered deaths of Grand Traverse County.
So what Mike is suggesting here is that we have to pay for the autopsies. That is what it is. It's a cost that will be borne by Grand Traverse County. However, we can enter into interlocal agreements like we have with Leelanau for transport services. So we hope that sometime in 2026 we can have those agreements in place, and the revenue projections should improve.
With other surrounding counties.
Yes.
Correct.
More comments, questions, concerns?
So I like that this is a 3-year contract so that you can explore what you mentioned. And I used to be a phlebotomist at the hospital, and there was a doctor who would do autopsies at Munson, and sometimes we would get a chance to observe and help and just watch. I like what they presented at WMed. It looks like they're very specialized. They've got a team. I think they'll do a better job right now. And that's something that we can explore for 3 years from now. So I'm totally on board. What does Marquette do? I'm curious, do they send autopsies, or not Marquette, but other parts of the Upper Peninsula?
Upper Peninsula. I know there is a chief pathologist in one of the counties that have interlocal agreements, but I don't know which counties are which, and I can bring that information back.
It doesn't
but,
really
yeah.
matter. I'm just thinking that this might be good. It might be really supportive of what you suggested.
I wrapped it in a little sales pitch initially with the RFP, but I'm willing to continue that conversation.
All right, I believe there's a motion on the floor. There's no more comments, questions, concerns? Did you make it? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Fantastic, thank you. I believe it's still your show.
I think we have.
Director Leahy.
I don't have any more slides for the transport one, so I did try to bring them all into one just for tying it all together. I thought about making this one agenda item, but there was just too much going on, so
Then with that, I'll make the motion that we approve
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
the transportation, the medical examiner transport services agreement as presented in the package.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Andrews, support by Commissioner Nelson to approve as presented. Comments, questions, concerns, discussion? Seeing that there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Director
thank
Leahy.
you. Really quick, I would I did some review of 25. We as a health department had 40 agenda items in front of you all in 2025. I believe there was 38 opportunities to have agenda items in front of you, so we were averaging just over one, and I appreciate the support along the way, and I know our team does as well. So I promise this is the last time you have to hear from me in 2025.
Thank you, we'll keep you to that.
Let's work on
Merry
that
Christmas.
number to our new health officer. That's funny. That's so funny. Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to remind him of that. We're going to have a tally.
Excuse me. Whenever you're ready, Ms. McKellar.
Thank you. I'm Jenny McKellar, Special Projects Coordinator for Administration. Thank you for welcoming this conversation today. It's one I've been looking forward to for quite a while as we've tried to wrap our heads around what a communications plan can and should look like for the county and how it might help us achieve our strategic goals. We've built some great momentum this year that we're very proud of, and we're hoping to further develop our marketing plan with a longer-term commitment under your direction. So I'm here to provide some context for that discussion and the decisions at hand. I'll start with why would the county need a marketing strategy at all? We don't sell products or services, but we do provide public services, and we want citizens to know about them, understand, and utilize those services. We want to keep residents informed of our projects and initiatives that we have going on and to encourage engagement and participation. That kind of open communication is what builds trust and accountability, and it helps shape our positive image. So we're not just the government, we are real people working hard every day to make this a grand place to live, work, and play. All of this, of course, relates directly to our strategic plan, goal number 3, which is building trust and transparency. The objectives of that goal are to improve awareness and access to county services and proactively share information with the community. So when we're talking about marketing, we're not talking about television commercials or billboards. We're just trying to share information proactively and say, this is who we are, this is what we do for the community, this is why it matters, here's how to find out more and get involved if you so choose. Our communications team currently, if I were to put it in an org chart format, this is what it looks like in my brain. There's our organizational leadership, of course, sets the tone and direction. I work hand in hand with our departments. Anytime we have information we want to push out or better communicate something through our website, and then we work with Grand Bay Promotions and Novum Productions. Grand Bay handles our promotional services, so they do our press release distribution. They make sure that those press releases get into the hands of the media, so they actually reach people. They coordinate media spotlights, interviews for us, and we have strategic discussions around the timing of that content with them. Novum Productions does our content marketing and web support services for us. So they write all of the creative content for our newsletters, for instance, for our website, for our PSAs. They've worked with administration and other departments on marketing campaigns. They do all the photography, print materials as needed, things like that. They also help us manage our website, which is huge. They were instrumental in our redesign process. So with our contract with Civic Plus, every few years we get a free redesign. And so Civic Plus reached out to me in 2023 and said, "Are you the person who's in charge of that?" And I said, "Yes." And Novum Productions really took the reins on that and made our website what it is today. And they've continued to make improvements to it because it requires constant work to keep it up and running as well as it can. They do that using data and using our feedback, community feedback, et cetera. So their web support has been really critical. We also have various communication tools that we use. Like I said, Civic Plus is our website CMS. We have, a whole slew of standard tools, social media press releases, media spotlights. We use iCompass to publish our board meeting agendas. Coffee with the County, we agree that we'd like to bring that back and keep doing that in the coming year. Some communication tools that we've invested in recently include Granicus. That is what we plan to use for our notifications and engagement. So monthly email newsletters, subscriber alerts. We can also do project pages with them, which is more interactive, so we can gather community input on the projects that we have going on. Also plan to move our internal communications to that platform as well, so the county communicator would come that way. We also did Recess this year. We sponsored Recess locally, and those were great community engagement events, so more two-way communications. We have a chance at the microphone at those events, and we can also have great conversations. With that Recess package, there is a advertising component included, part of which is every time the Recess events are advertised, whether on the radio, social media, ticker articles, the end of every one of those announcements, we have a mention. So it'll, at the end, Recess is sponsored by Grand Traverse County, a grand place to live, work, and play. Every time I hear that on the radio, I totally geek out. I love it. That's all included. That's hundreds of times right throughout the whole year. In addition, there's an advertising package for PSA and ad placements to use however we wish. That was a tricky one to wrap our heads around. Again, we don't sell things. What would we advertise? And Novum brought the Recess opportunity to us, and they also supported us through that in creating PSAs that we found useful. So here are some examples I threw in just of some of those quarter ads and half-page ads in the ticker, the Traverse City Business News, and Northern Express. Novum knows their content calendar throughout the year, and so we're able to strategically place some things. For instance, October, there's a retirement issue, and so we had an ad about the Senior Center Network and opportunities and activities there. There is a job postings edition, so we advertise that we're a grand place to work, things like that. When our survey was out, we used that advertising opportunity to push the survey. And in the spring, when building projects start to ramp up, we use that as an opportunity to highlight Epic GT. Separately, Novum helped us with an entire campaign for Epic GT, which is our online service or self-service portal for inspections and permits. We have these great tools, and then we wonder why people aren't using them. Well, we're not telling people about them enough, maybe. So we had an entire ad campaign built around Epic GT, and that was a separate engagement. So at request of the board, we pulled together some numbers for you. Dean helped me data mine Workday for some of this, so thank you. I put Civic Plus in there partly for my own curiosity. When we did our redesign, we took them up on the opportunity to provide training for our staff, so that at a minimum, every department theoretically has somebody on staff that can provide basic updates for their web pages. So that's what we spent on training this year. It's not an annual cost, but was very useful. Recess was $13,000, and their numbers indicate that that's a $41,000 value. Granicus, like I said, we just invested in that for the Engagement Cloud annual fee. I've included what we've spent with Grand Bay Promotions in the last 3 calendar years, as well as Novum Productions. And Novum, that number includes specific projects that we contracted with them for, such as our UX audit for the website, the implementation of those changes, the Epic GT campaign I mentioned. The Senior Center Network has done advertising campaigns with them. We've had a marketing web retainer for a few months so that they could help support those web edits as we still needed them. And then since then, we've been out of contract, and we've been very minimally having them support a few things as needed, and they just bill us hourly. So that's what that has added up to thus far. Also, at the request of Commissioner Henschel, and thank you for this request, measurable outcomes is not something that we have paid enough attention to. I'll explain what I've included here. So I came up with a list of, based on experience, based on research. I also asked, when we put out an RFP, we had follow-up questions for some of our top candidates, and I included this as a follow-up question. So what metrics would you use to help us measure our success? This response came directly from Novum, these next 2 slides. And I feel like that really speaks to their knowledge and their commitment, having worked with us. These are things that they specifically want to help us improve on. So I won't read it all to you, but some of it we already know. Surveys, a lot of this came out of our survey results. We're trending upward in that trust and transparency, but the numbers still aren't great. We've got a ways to go, but we're heading in the right direction. We can track social media engagement and growth, event attendance, operational efficiencies, and then of course there are many ways we can track our website and digital performance. We know how many unique visitors we've had, page views, how much time people spend on a page, how they're engaging. We know how people are navigating through our website. If somebody has to search for something or click through a bunch of pages to find the same thing 100 times a day, we know that that thing should probably be easier to find. So those types of things. Similarly, if we're getting the same kind of phone calls over and over, we know that that's information that should be easier to navigate. What else? So, like I said, there's probably numerous other ways that we can be measuring. We did get some great ideas from some of those other firms as well, but I really wanted to highlight that this is what Novum would like to help us improve on. And it also speaks to the fact that, our communications team will always include all of us because we do the work, we know the work, but having such high caliber professionals on our team has been an advantage. We can rely on those professionals that are in our community to help us tell our story, make sure it's reaching the right people, and we can rely on them to make sure our tools are working properly and we're measuring our effectiveness continually. So with that said, we did go out for proposals for marketing and web support services. The scope was essentially all of the services that we have received in the last few years from Novum Productions, as well as things that we think that we might need across the organization. We had a committee, which included Mike Leahy, Lacey from the Senior Center, Kara from Parks and Rec, Maxwell, as he led that Epic GT campaign with them, Sheriff Shea and Michelle Folgersma from the Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff was hoping to be here, but they're in a training today, so he's not available. We received 23 proposals ranging from $1, meaning they didn't provide a price, to $1.1 million, meaning they don't know who we are or what we're trying to do here. The top three were Novum Productions, Idea 39, which is out of Detroit, and Flight Path Creative, which is also here in Traverse City. Novum scored the highest amongst all of us, or tied with the highest, I believe. We really, all of these were fabulous. There were so many great firms. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. They know what we're trying to do. They get it. They're fantastic. Nothing negative to say about these three in particular. We, as a committee, we would like to continue with Novum. We have an established relationship with them. We know firsthand how capable they are of providing the services we need. And we have a lot of projects in the works and in the queue that we're really excited to move forward with. So we know we can hit the ground running with them, where it would take some catch up with some other firms. The difference we're looking for is it has felt like we've kind of pieced things together as we're trying to wrap our heads around all this, with kind of individual campaigns here and there, or seeking support services for certain things. But what we're looking to do is have a more long-term contract for a retainer, so that we know exactly what we're getting, and it's all-encompassing organization-wide, right? And we really think that that'll help us improve our consistent and cohesive messaging across the county, and help us meet our goals. I think we can get more out of this relationship and really build a lot more towards what we're trying to do with a contract like that. With that, I will open it up to questions.
Commissioner Henschel.
Thank you. I remember one of the big, when we first looked at this contract, one of the big things was our website and how it's just like hard to find what you want to find. So I did a little test this morning. I go to gtcountymi.gov and I think, okay, there's a search box. What would someone search for in our county? I wonder about county, what are the parks hours? So I type in parks hours and it comes up court hours and holidays, AO court hours Antrim, AO court hours Grand Traverse, hours of work PDF, 12-hour shifts LOA sergeants, AO court hours. This is still completely a mess.
Yeah, it is.
If a resident comes in and just types something they're looking for, they're not finding it. What's it going to take to get our website tuned in? I mean, I guess you could just use Google and, try to find it there. It's probably a lot easier, but our website that we pay six figures for, all in, we still can't just find park hours.
Yeah, I agree. It's frustrating. It requires constant
Sorry,
attention
John,
and
put you on
improvements.
the spot there. But yeah, okay, great. It's not sun up to sundown.
Call John. Phone number is?
Commissioner Spence.
Hey, thank you. I'm wondering, I see that Granicus does newsletters and some things that it looks like maybe there's some overlap, because I see Novum's, their scope of services includes
Right.
newsletters. So
Thank you.
is
So
there any kind of-
Granicus is the platform that we use.
Okay.
And then Novum or our staff writes the content that we put out.
So Granicus
If that
is
makes sense.
like a template
Yes.
of sorts.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the tool that we use. It's the platform we use to create those.
Thank you.
But they don't do it for us. Yeah.
Heard that question that Commissioner Henschel asked. Has Novum done a complete overhaul of the website? I don't believe that we've done that yet.
They did the user experience audit, and they did implement a whole lot of changes based on that audit. What we've discovered is that was not necessarily a one and done. It's fixed, yay, it's perfect now. that's not the case. And I don't want to blame Civic Plus, but it's a little tricky what we're able to do. We've spent some time learning what we're able to do, what we're not able to do, and how to work with that tool to make it the best it can be. And it changes. So we've changed navigations, menus, multiple times based on feedback, based on the data of how people are finding things, if they're finding things. So it does take constant adjustment, and that's definitely something that's remains over my head and a lot of our staff's head.
And I could add some context, if I may, before Commissioner Walter. The department heads and elected officials are responsible for content of their websites and their Facebook pages. That is not the scope of Novum. That is, so we internally have to make sure that we are populating those things correctly, changing them as we go. And it does prove to be challenging because individual department heads or managers aren't website producers. We have a fairly simple website platform in Civic Plus, but it isn't something that they touch every day.
Right.
Commissioner Walter, you were...
Well, I'll follow up on that, and I have a few more questions. That's my concern, too, is we paid them a lot of money to basically, we did have a kind of a mess of a website, but it doesn't feel like it's completely done. And I totally understand, like, it's never completely done, but some of those things are still pretty bad. I was on there the other day trying to find something and gave up and got a couple dead ends, too, which I thought those were all being fixed. So I am unhappy with that it's still not really how we thought it would be by this point. And I mean, I don't know how much we already spent almost $200,000 with them, and it's mostly about the website, right? I mean, I know they've done some other stuff, but that mostly was what we contracted for them to update the user experience and
That might be a fair.
the navigation
guess,
and all that. And I do recognize there's some improvements, but there's still a lot that's not improved. So I do have a concern there that we're already $200,000 in, and it's not how it should be.
I think that's a fair concern. I think, to your point of finding dead ends, I think a lot of that has happened just by us being in it and trying to update things, and even the most savvy of us break it sometimes. And people call me and I fix it if I can, or I call Adam at Novum if I can't. So those are some of the things that we'll just need continuous eyes on, and preferably expert eyes on. But yeah, I hear your concern. I do.
Commissioner Nelson, oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner
Well,
Walter,
I
go
have a
go
few
ahead.
more questions.
I'm sorry,
That's
go ahead.
okay.
No.
Okay. So a few more somewhat related to, website, and then I have a couple other communications questions. The big thing now, of course, is with AI and trying to get websites to not only be up to speed with SEO, but with GEO, and I don't see that anywhere in here. I mean, pretty much every company now is revising their website to, GEO is generative engine optimization, right? So it's for the AI platforms basically to read your website and have you come up in, if you're looking, instead of just Google search, right? I don't see that anywhere in here, and that concerns me. And I mean, I know it wasn't in the RFP, but that is kind of top of mind for every company right now with their website communications is how does the website do with GEO? You can do a GEO audit, and basically it has to do with the kind of content that you have on the website. And I think it's a great direction to take. And it concerns me that it's not in here, but then I thought, well, if it's, if we have just a retainer with them, we could maybe add it. But then how many hours does the retainer include? I did not see that in here.
It's not quantified hourly,
It's just unlimited,
more or less.
more or less?
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So we asked specifically for a retainer for that purpose.
Yeah.
We've spread, and the staff here can address this as well. We think that we want we don't think, we want an overarching communication strategy. We've been working on it. I know the board has interest and varied opinions about what that looks like. So this is an effort for us to try to consolidate those services so that we know going forward, how are we going to communicate with all of our various platforms through the departments. So we asked for a retainer. Obviously, there's an ending amount of time that they have. We're not their only client, and so it'll spread out. And in our view, it would be a continuous running proposal. We're not asking for a decision today. It was more of an update to give you the thought process of administration and how we want to solve some of the issues that we have. But we did specifically say no hourly rate. We want a retainer for a period of time throughout the contract.
Usually retainer has a max number of hours, and I don't see that in here. What's that?
Always, yeah.
Well, but, I mean, that's confusing to me, because does that mean you can ask them to produce a video every week? Or, what does that all include?
We can ask. I'm not sure that it would be feasible, but much like our legal counsel retainer, there are things that are within the retainer, and as long as we stay within that retainer, we just use that service. There's also items that are not covered by the retainer, and once we get into one of those areas that is not covered, there's an additional charge. I expect that the retainer that we have with Novum or any of those three vendors would reflect the same.
Okay, that seems too much gray area for me, but the other question I have is there seems to be some overlap with what Grand Bay is currently doing. Part of our agreement with them is for videos, and now the agreement with Novum is for video production too. So I don't want to pay two companies to do video work.
Sure, yeah.
I don't understand what that.
That's fair. Yeah, Grand Bay has done our Straight from Nate video series. That is what they have included in our contract with them, and it's been very successful. Novum has done specific video campaigns as requested. For instance, they're working with the sheriff's office right now to do a PSA with the schools. I don't know the details of it, but it sounds pretty moving and pretty powerful, and it's something they've wanted to do for years. So sheriff came to us and said, is this something that would be covered under that retainer? It's not currently, but they sat down, they figured it out, and they're making it happen. And it's going to be a really powerful thing for the community. So it's those kind of specific asks that they've done. They created a video for our Epic GT campaign, and they have ran that as a PSA, kind of using some media connections and running it as their free PSA spots. So it's like kind of specific needs like that.
The other distinction between Grand Bay and Novum, Grand Bay uses a cell phone, literally. Novum has production equipment.
All of the equipment is included, yeah.
For higher-end video productions. So I understand the distinction. And that was a creation out of the discussions we were having with Grand Bay over the last year and a half. So their initial proposal was just to do press releases and media inquiries and promotional activities.
Right.
I agree, there's a lot of overlap between the two. Would it be possible to determine whether or not we could get Novum to do a lot of what Grand Bay Promotions is doing? I mean, you just illustrated it really well that Novum is taking care of the sheriff's department because they would be using all this high-end equipment versus a cell phone. Would that then change the retainer with Novum? But that was kind of my gut feeling, that I seemed like they were both doing kind of the same thing in a different way.
There are some similarities. It does certainly look like that. The way that we kind of see it is Grand Bay helps us, well, Novum helps us create the content. Grand Bay helps us push it out. And they do that in different ways, yes.
Okay.
There are potentially things that Novum can pull into the fold that Grand Bay is doing. I don't know that the opposite is true.
Commissioner Spence, we have thought of that a lot, and I think that as we go through this discussion, there may be opportunities to look at that.
Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you. I actually have loved what this team has done. I look at Grand Bay Promotions, in my terms, I call them like a PR firm. Novum Productions is more of a marketing firm. I have been really impressed with what they have done, what they've accomplished. When people think about interacting with the government, it's kind of like they're expecting, not my department, I don't really care, you got to go to another desk. And we are shifting that image, and quite often it's an incorrect image, but we're shifting that image with the public through all these different things that we've been doing, and I think it's worked really well. We've had a lot of interactions, we've had a lot of public comment, we've had a lot of public interface, and I've been saying I want people to be contacting Grand Traverse County and say, man, what are you guys doing up there? Because you're getting good feedback, you're easy to interact with, and I want to take this chance to accuse Commissioner Henschel of being old, because I'm a lot older than him, but I would never go to the Grand Traverse County website to look up the parks hours. I would just Google parks hours, Grand Traverse County, or parks hours for a park I want to go to, and I did that, and it's right up top, 6 to 11, right there. So, Boomer, you got to get what the updated times here with us modern hip people are using. So, us groovy people, I'll use my. But anyway, and that comes from the search engine optimization, some of the things they've been doing. So, it is a clunky website. Revamping an entire website is extremely expensive, and I suspect that this board would probably have probably choke on that, what that bill would be. So. Anyway, I support the two. I think it's a great team. I do have a concern, though, is that I don't know if this is Grand Bay Promotions or Novum, but when the medical examiner comes to our meeting and is dressed more colorful than our Straight from Nate star, who is in black and white today, I think we need to work on that.
It's a classic.
So that'd be my criticism.
Oh, man. Nobody's safe from Darrell today.
Well, having said all of that, one of the things that this county has not done until we've started this process is share information correctly. Now, having said that, all this marketing promotion is still lipstick on a pig if our website doesn't work. Our website should be phone-friendly. It should be anybody that can operate a phone can get on the website, go to the department within a couple of swipes and what have you. And if we're not going to accomplish that, that should be the priority. It's like, hey, this is all great, until we're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars saying, hey, this is all great, until you try to go to use it, and it doesn't work worth a damn. I think they're not necessarily mutually exclusive, but I don't think that they need to be together either. And until we do that, so here's a good example. $110 million is what Grand Traverse County spends a year. And we can't have the AV work correctly in the commission chambers when we're having a meeting. That sends a far greater message than any Straight from Nate video will ever do. So as we talk, I appreciate the hard work that you've done, Ms. McKellar, and I think you're on the right path, but I think we're skipping over some of the base foundation, what we should be looking at, and I'm not really concerned that the cost is going to be $200,000. We should be getting an RFP, and we should have some hard numbers to do that. I'm sorry, I stepped on somebody, and I apologize. Who was that? Was that you, Commissioner Andrews? My apologies.
I'm concerned with, I share Commissioner Henschel's concern. Specifically, there's a slide, and I think you said this was straight from Novum with the measurable outcomes. And what concerns me is these outcomes are measurable, and they have been measurable for the last 3 years that we've used Novum, and yet we don't have any of these statistics. We don't have any data showing the surveys and the social media. And if we don't, and we need it both against a control group, right? Like, what did it used to be and what has it been with $200,000 worth of investment over the last 3 years? We've got nothing to show that, and there has been growth. It's subjective. It's not. It's qualitative, not quantitative, and that concerns me. It also concerns me that Novum's pricing is a 3-year contract. That's a big commitment. The Flight Paths contract came in to $2,500 cheaper per month, $7,500 a month compared to Novum's $10,000 over the 3 years. That's almost $100,000 more for something where we're not super excited about where we already are $200,000 in. So those are two starter concerns, but my bigger concern with a strategy around communications where we still haven't identified who is the chief public information officer for Grand Traverse County and where do they get their information. We had an incident in Grand Traverse County in August. We don't have a spokesperson, and we still, so all of whoever's telling the public our information, they still have to get information from within the county, and we have to find ways to identify and channel those messages efficiently internally. And we still haven't done that, and I feel like, we're sort of nibbling around the edges. I won't use the lipstick on a pig because it's already been used, but we're not dealing with the big problem in the room. And that's my concern with the strategy. It's nothing, I feel like we're not addressing the key way that we're getting information out to the public from the county. So I appreciate the work and the effort. I appreciate that this is a conversation, and that's why you brought it to us for a conversation. And that's just where I'm at it so far.
Was there an ask to accept one of the proposals today? I mean, it's not in the packet, but.
We met with the agenda setting committee and we had a great conversation about all of this, and there were other recommendations given to us as well, like perhaps we should have a vendor of choice versus an actual contract with somebody, so that in the event that something pops up that, you know, the senior center or the parks need to do, we could have a preferred vendor that we don't have to go out for bids, et cetera. So we didn't want to come to you today with a decision or request. We just wanted to hear the feedback from the board. But this is something that we know this board wants. This is overarching communication strategy. And in my sense, from a real-world perspective, in any given event, the elected official associated with that event is the PIO. Now, that person is going to be fed information by somebody. Take the sheriff's office, for an example. You would never see the county administrator standing at a podium during a sheriff's office press release. That is the sheriff. Now, the sheriff doesn't he's not the person that's accumulating the information. That's what staff does. So we recognize there's a desire for that. We don't see that a single person in administration can do everything that is associated with the management of information and marketing. Jenny does not have a computer science degree. Our IT department, they can do certain things. Cliff is working on a chatbot right now for our website. So I know that it's diverse, it's diffused. So we wanted to hear this conversation, give you the opportunity to have these questions and comments, and then in the event that our staff has any comments or questions, they could be heard as well. But there is no ask.
Thank you.
Any more comments, questions, concerns? Commissioner Walter?
Yeah, and we've had the conversation before, and I think there was some consensus that we wanted to have an internal, or explore having an internal person who works, it'd be a new position, a communications director, who'd be working with outside vendors as needed, you know, maybe a video production company or something like that. Just exploring that possibility versus this approach. I haven't seen that come back in any form. I'd like to see that as a possibility, and I'm not comfortable with a 3-year contract knowing that. That's how I'd like to see the county move. And I saw recently there was an opening at the county, I think it was with the senior center, a marketing communications position. How many departments have their own communications person?
So the senior center has a position, the health department has a position specifically for public information. I think that is it.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to look at that big picture. You know, 2 departments already have their own people who are doing some of that work for them.
I think we looked at our Grand Bay contract, and it was less than what one employee would be, and it offered a whole bunch more in scope of services than just one employee.
I think that was accurate. But it's, again, we have some things that we need to fix. It's time to put on our adult hats and fix them. Because we're sprayed, and there are some good things.
Talking to him?
No.
Adult hat?
Hey, Santa Claus was not a child. Though he probably was at one time, but not in the version that we know. So come back when you got some white there, Hansel. But I digress a little bit. We have, no, you're good. We do have some things we need to fix. And I'm a big believer in the marketing that we have done. I mean, people talk about it. Outreach is something that we should be doing, but these other things we should be fixing as well. And I think that's, Ms. McKellar has created a great platform for us to discuss and make some decisions as we go forward. And as all things in county government, it won't be a one and done, solve all the problems. It'll be probably several conversations and multifaceted is my expectation in the new year.
I have seen other websites, like our county website, that are identical. I mean, of course, the content's different, but the way it's formatted is exactly the same as ours. So who's doing is it Novum that's doing the formatting of our county website?
Yes, within the confines of what we can do on Civic Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basic platform.
Is
So
that,
the other ones you've seen are probably Civic Plus
Yeah.
websites, and they have a certain way of doing things for municipal
okay.
websites.
A few townships have changed their websites recently
that.
and updated them, and they're much user-friendly. They have one of the problems I've had in the past with the county's website is if you try to watch a meeting from a board meeting, it's hard to find it. But some of these new updated township websites have their public meetings right there.
Yeah, great.
And have you looked at those?
I have not, no.
Oh, well,
no,
if
but
you get a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Garfield Township updated their website within the last year, and it's
Wonderful.
really good. It's vibrant, it's colorful, it's easy to use. It might illuminate like how we could do better.
Yeah, and we certainly can do better, and honestly, that's what we're looking to do. Like I said, we've kind of pieced this together for the last more than half a year, and I think we're looking forward to the opportunity to dive into it deeper, and I think that's what a contract and a retainer would help us achieve, is to really start looking at this more consistently so that we can make those improvements and make those fixes and do the other projects that we have lined up. So it is I know Novum outlined a 3-year agreement. Was partly because that's what we had asked for, that option to renew for 3 years. But it is a 1-year contract is what we'd be looking to do.
So we could do a shorter contract.
Absolutely.
And those statistics would be really nice to actually have numbers.
I know that they have those. They've looked at our Google Analytics, our Amazon Web Services, I think. They have those numbers. It's not something we've ever asked them for, but that is absolutely what they rely on when they're implementing changes or making suggestions for changes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
If there's nothing for Ms. McKellar?
I do have other staff here if anybody wants to chime in on what they've done for our website, for other projects. If I know Cliff can speak to the
Yes, we do.
GEO and SEO. As Nate mentioned, we're building a chatbot on our website, and actually working with, IT is working with Adam from Novum to kind of figure out how that's going to work. But yeah, all of this is very great points, and I can't speak for all of it, but others can if they care to come up or if you have more questions.
Look at that. You gonna come up? Come on up. Don't be afraid. I can't reach you from here. I got short arms.
Kara Yuli, Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation. I just wanted to speak specifically to Granicus. So Parks and Rec is using that heavily. So there's a question about kind of how does that work. So they provided us with templates. They were able to upload our initial subscriber list, and then we write the content for that. Parks and Rec currently has 3 different newsletters that we are doing. We're doing a monthly updates from Camp Greilich. We're doing a quarterly All Parks newsletter digest that kind of mirrors what we have in print format. And then we'll be starting a quarterly volunteer newsletter next year. So what that platform does for me is, number 1, gives me direct access to a bunch of folks out in the community. Number 2, it allows new subscribers to come on. So now in my email signature on every program sign up, anywhere I get an opportunity, I can reach out to people and say, hey, if you want to learn more real-time content, this is how you do it. It also has wonderful analytics. So when I send out a newsletter, which I did this morning, I can already see how many people opened it and what links they clicked on within that newsletter, which is really valuable. I can communicate out to our partners and say, hey, Aloft Disc Golf, you got 25 clicks from our last newsletter. So at the analytics level, like, stats, really helpful to have that granular information, see what people are interested in. I think that in my role, I've spent a lot more time. We talked about like who has designated communications folks in their department. That is not my title, but I probably spend 30% of my time on preparing communications, thinking about messaging. I think that a lot of our community engagement and transparency is that we have to say what we do what we say, prove it, and improve it. And so this platform, the Granicus platform specifically, helps with that. The work that Novum Productions, we worked with them closely on the recess at Civic Center Park, which I thought was fabulous. I would advocate heavily for having somebody local in the role that we're asking the marketing folks to play, because their social capital helped us immensely in creating networking opportunities and bringing people into the parks.
Just for clarification, did you say that you write the content for the newsletters?
Correct, my staff and I. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Lacey Edgecombe, the director at Senior Center Network. I just wanted to speak to the role that we have internally, just to help understand what that is all about. So we have a marketing and events coordinator, and I would say the main goal of that role is internal. So we have a huge member base at the Senior Center Network. That's our whole concept. So that role focuses on getting information out to those that are already members with us, and Novum has been incredibly helpful in getting the outward information out. So we are running hundreds of programs at the Senior Center Network. We have events in the summer months monthly, even through the winters monthly. So the marketing and events coordinator is planning all of those things, promoting them all. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out that is entirely kind of compiled by this role. So their time is taken up by focusing on the membership that we already have. They do some outward communications. We have a social media page and stuff like that. But there's no way that we would be able to do inward and outwardly facing things successfully without some additional help. It's also nice to have that overarching idea from the county of how we want to get our information out and our services out. Naturally, the Senior Center Network has had a huge increase in membership this year. We have just over 4,000 new members this year with the new building. So we really didn't need any help with that, but it has been great to have the additional help in getting the message out, what we offer, what we do, and for people to continue coming to check out the new building, and then our satellite locations as well. So I just wanted to kind of give an idea of the difference. We do a ton of internal marketing, but it doesn't always get to capture the external marketing to throughout the county.
Thank you.
Good morning. Maxwell Cameron, Community Development Coordinator for the county. With respect to Novum's work on our Epic GT campaign, so one of the questions that we asked in the National Community Survey, or one of our custom questions, was, hey, have you heard about Epic GT? And that's really important to us because we've invested a lot of time, money, and it's a really innovative product that can help our community in a number of ways. And I think the response from that survey dictates sort of the success of what Novum has helped us with. 20% of our community said they were aware of the Epic GT services. And when we also asked in that question how many respondents utilize those services directly, the response was 2%. So the delta of 18% of our community knowing about something that they don't necessarily use is, I think, indicates the efficacy of some of the work that Novum has done for us. And it is about utilizing the pipeline that we have to reach our public and to tell our story. And some of that, for me, is indicated in the response that we got from the NCS survey. I also was asked to review the proposals that we received. Very grateful for that opportunity. And I think that the methodology of moving forward with a retainer is really important in a space like this. There are a lot of intangibles and things that are difficult to calculate. And 2 points I would make, looking at the proposals we received, sort of affirmed the pricing that we were getting from Novum. It fit in line with some of the other retainer proposals that we received. And anybody who works with me knows that hours aren't something that I necessarily prioritize or focus on. It's more so outcomes, results, and deliverables. And so what was described in the RFP gives us, I think, a better opportunity to accomplish what our goals are. And it's not really about hours in this space. So that's really the comments that I have for Novum and their proposal.
Thank you.
Hello, Cliff Dupuy, IT. To your point about AI, we're actively pursuing artificial intelligence. We've built an AI agent named Cora. It's a community online resource assistant, and that is live right now in a demo environment, which we are working on. As a matter of fact, I just came from a presentation that they're building. The challenge with that is placement on a website, and Novum has been very forthcoming in helping us. We work exclusively with Adam from there. He's the technical person. It's nice to have someone local. They can come over, they meet with us, we can pick up the phone and go with them. To answer your question about the hours at the park, I don't know who asked that question. You'll be able to go to Cora, ask what the hours are, and boom, it'll come up. I'm just demonstrating it to Mr. Leahy. How do you get a license for a food truck or a restaurant? Came up. What was the cost for a restaurant for 71 seats? Gives you that. The thing to remember about an AI agent is if you have children, grandchildren, kids, brothers, sisters, whatever, you have to teach it. And so it's like teaching your child the colors, the alphabet, and things like that. It just doesn't come out of the box and bam, it knows everything, because they have the large learning modules that you've read about, where yours is going to be a small learning module because it's containerized, it's our stuff. So we can put a data pool, we can put the guardrails in, we can put in there information about what not to respond, how to respond, what to, and so that information is ours, it's not being shared across the commodity internet. So to your question, we'll be having that. We're going to go live January 1. We've been working a great deal with the health department to get them online first. We're pretty excited about that. But that whole back end and how it fits on the website and where it fits, because now we have Granicus on the right side, so we're thinking about putting the AI agent on the left side. And we do have some border in between. It's very important for us. And then the branding is incredibly important. I've worked in organizations where each department had a different color. You didn't even know what county it was, what department it was, who it belonged to it. Branding is really important. So if you look at some of these Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, the branding's the same. Unique to each department, but the colors, the schemes are the same and things like that. So again, I rise in support of the Novum report that they've given you and the bid that they've given you, because working with them on the IT side has been really helpful. So thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Did you have something, Laura? I'm Michelle Folkersman with the Sheriff's Office, and somebody raised my hand when we, started setting up our website and everything with Civic Plus originally. I am not techie, nor am I very interested in being techie. It is labor intensive because it's not my forte. And having Novum, where I don't have to go through Jenny McKellar or some other department to say, hey, who can I go to help me do this? If we had a standing agreement that I could call Novum direct and ask for their assistance, we want to do a QR code that can be scanned or whatever. And also just helping me understand what words and phrases need to be in the back end. So when you do search for park hours or whatever, we're at the top of the list, because I think that's tricky too. And now you have to describe things for a blind person. And I don't fully understand how to go about that. And I think Novum could help us, better improve those search and just the overall content. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm done anyway. But I just, we've worked with Kat and Adam a little bit, and they've been very responsive and supportive, and I think it would be nice that they could be just a phone call away. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else while we're at it? Anything further from the board? Ms. McKellar and co., thank you very much. If you have anything to add at the end here?
No, nothing to add. Thank you so much for the conversation, and looking forward to moving forward with something, whatever that may be.
Probably lots of things is going to be my guess.
Yeah, great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, so we don't have any unfinished business, no new business. We do have a closed session at the end today, so we have any commissioner reports. We'll start with Santa Wannabe. Commissioner Henschel.
Sorry.
With your adult hat.
The probably most interesting thing going on this week has been the airport has approved the land lease for the potential hotel, in concept. So they have 1 year to break ground and 2 years to get a C of O. So within 2 years, if things keep rolling, we'll have a hotel on the airport grounds for people from out of town that want to come and stay if they got an early flight or flight crews, things like that. So there's been something talked about for many years, and it's interesting to see things moving forward.
Fantastic. Commissioner Nelson, excuse me.
Thank you. Last week, were two big pieces of news last week. One, the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund awarded over $6 million to different organizations, townships in Grand Traverse County. The Vasa Trailhead was one of the ones, helped support that. Of that over $6 million, 5.5 is all landing in East Bay Township. 4.8 of that is the Ridge, which is a high piece of property. I think it's the highest piece of property or highest elevation in the county. So that was big. We kind of swept I think everything that was asked for was given to us in Grand Traverse County, and so it was very successful. A lot of people put a lot of work into that, including some people in this room. So thanks for that. Another big piece of news that happened last week is Camp Graylick opened for business, our newest county park. So I know that John and Kara have put in tons and tons of work on that. Thanks to them. We should do the wave up here, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Right at the end of the year, one of the biggest events of the year, I think, for the county was opening that big park like that. So, and then the last thing I want to say is, I'm proud to serve with Administrator Nate and his team of employees throughout the entire county. We have one guy who has to come talk to us 38 times, but we'll see if we can reduce that. But everyone that comes in front of us, I'm just immensely proud of how hard they're working, and it's a pleasure to work with you all. And at this time of year, you kind of tend to reflect back on that, and it's always a pleasure to work with our Administrator Nate. You do a fantastic job. As much as I pick on you, I want to publicly say that you're a good leader, and thank you very much for all you do. Thank
you. Commissioner Walter.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit more about our marijuana work group funding process. Commissioner Nelson and Flynn and I were the appointees on that, but really the heavy lifting of reviewing applications for a scoring matrix really was the staff. So I want to thank Chris and Jenny and Lisa, and Nate was there as well, and I'm probably forgetting other people who participated in that. We did receive, and this was in the memo, but we received 80 applicants, I believe, and only one didn't really meet the qualifications. And then we met to narrow them down. There were a lot of amazing community projects, so it was really cool to see a little glimpse into a lot of organizations and really great work that they're doing in our region. We did have a process of narrowing it down. Commissioner Spence kind of wondered how we got to the 13, so I just wanted to give an overview on that. And there was a score. I think we ended up narrowing it down to those who received a score of 85 and above.
90.
90 and above?
Yeah, 90 and above.
Okay. And then we narrowed it down further to those who
who hadn't already kind of recently received county funds through ARPA or through other county partnerships with that organization or entity. And then from there, we worked at we actually worked really well together, I thought, figuring out the math and how to, whether we were going to give the $500,000 to a few or many and all of that. So we decided to spread it out amongst the top 13 in the end, who all said they could. I think the other question, we had a follow-up question about partial funding. Could they still proceed with their project if they received partial funding? And so that's how we got to those, and I'm excited about the projects that were chosen. And I'm sure more will be coming out in a press release maybe about those projects helping our community in 2026. So thanks to the committee for getting together and making those decisions together.
Thank you. Commissioner Spence.
Thank you. I think that's some of the best news of the week are the great organizations that benefited from the funds and how they were allocated. I can't think of anything specific going on in my area, my District 4, but I'm taking off and for Christmas vacation and want to wish everybody a happy holiday. And it's been a pleasure working with all of you and serving with all of you this year.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes, Northern Lakes Community Mental Health meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock at our Hall Street location, 3rd floor boardroom. And I'm excited to announce that the new CEO will be coming to the Board of Commissioners on January 14th.
Fantastic. Yes, I'm excited for that when they get here.
I don't have any specific reports, but as always, it's been an honor in 2025 to serve with all of you, and happy holidays to all.
Thank you. Commissioner McAllister.
District 1, we had our light up Interlaken. Very nice. There were about 1,000 people there. Everybody got free hot dogs and cocoa, and it was really nice. Santa Claus ride, and it was just really a beautiful night. And we are starting our project on our ICAT, which is the Interlaken Community Art Trail, a non-motorized version that goes from the park to the four corners of Interlaken. So we're starting with a bridge right now, and hopefully we can get the rest of that done here in the upcoming year. So we've been working on it a long time. We got all of our land leases signed and that kind of stuff, and it's going to go through the state park, which is the oldest and the largest state park in the great state of Michigan.
Fantastic.
That's all I got.
Fantastic.
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Andrews.
I have nothing for the group.
Wow, me either.
the hell?
2025 has been a great year.
Used it all up.
Thank you, everyone. So my final statement is Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I want to pass this over to Administrator Eldred.
Well, unless you want to have a meeting on December 24th, happy holidays.
Of course we do. Getting her done.
We don't know what to do with ourselves. All right, so anything down there?
Oh, yeah, I just want to say thank you to the Funds Work Group, and thanks for Jenny McKellar. It was just a lot of fun reviewing all those applications. But thank you, everybody. Thank you
We
for that
dang near
hard
killed
work.
you guys with that. Sorry, thank you very much.
So I'm glad to help and participate in that for sure.
Director Bott? Clerk Shealy? All right, well, I guess we're going to go to second public comment. If you'd like to get up and say something, please go to the podium.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Juliette Schultz. I'm the Executive Director with the Women's Resource Center, and we're one of those lucky 13 recipients of the marijuana funding. So I want to say thank you so much for that. I heard Father Cipriani say, lead with love. And that's our mantra at the Women's Resource Center, always really focused on loving those that need us the most and when they're the most vulnerable. This gift is actually going to provide 357 nights of shelter to survivors of domestic and sexual violence in our community who are fleeing a violent home. So this is a pretty transformative grant that you've given us, and knowing that the competition was very tough and there were over 80 applications that you had to review, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, the staff and the work group, because that's a lot of work. and giving away a limited amount of funding when there's such a desperate need in our community is a lot of work. So thank you so much for prioritizing survivors of domestic and sexual violence. Thank you for also the giving that you gave to the other 12 organizations, which are also very important in our community. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Would there be anybody else willing to speak on public comment this morning? Oh, this afternoon. Look at that. All right, going once, going twice, third time's a charm. All right, so now we have a closed session. Make the motion, we go into closed session, discuss written attorney-client privilege, legal opinions from the county's work comp counsel and civil counsel as permitted by MCL 15.261H.
Support.
Sweet. All those in favor?
Aye. That's a roll call
Oh,
vote.
sorry, roll call vote. My apologies. You're right, it is. Thank you.
Smart.
She is.
Morris? Yes. McAllister?
Yes.
Henschel?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Spence?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Seifert?
Yes. Fantastic. See y'all in 5 minutes.
All right. Amber's got
That works for me. I've spoken enough today. I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings, but then again, I really don't care. What's going on there?
I'll move to come out of closed session.
Too cold?
I'll second. That was Flynn and Andrews.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite often chilly in here, I think. Dr. Nolan?
I'm going to make a motion
Refreshing.
that the board
Go ahead, please.
conditionally approve the settlement offers discussed in closed session related to a pending workers' compensation claim as recommended by the county's Workers' Compensation Council, and related to a contract early termination claim as recommended by Civil Council, and to authorize the board chair to sign written agreements following the approval as to form by legal counsel.
Support.
A motion by Andrews, support by Flynn. Comments, questions, concerns? You all set? Bonnie?
Yes.
Sweet. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. If there's no objections, we are adjourned. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.